Three, two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Now, well, we got a couple things I want to run by you folks. Now, it hasn't been a really big news day. Nevertheless, the way things are going, there's always things that are in the news on interest. And what we want to talk about today is simple. Um, Question being, I don't know what the hell just happened there on TikTok, but the question being is, we've heard about the suggestion that cats and dogs are being consumed in Springfield, Ohio, and some folks are suggesting it's not true and things of that nature. We're going to talk about that, but what I want to point out is it appears as though former President Trump plans to go to Springfield, Ohio, and hold some sort of a rally or some sort of a gathering. In addition to former President Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy is also talking about going. So, with the claim that they're eating cats and dogs and all of this stuff, and I'm not aware that they've shown any significant proof that this is happening. And you have the mayor of Springfield and the governor of Ohio saying that they would rather for Trump not to show up. I'm going to ask the obvious question. Why do you think Trump is going there? Why is Trump going to Springfield? What is the goal? Should he correct the statement that cats and dogs are being consumed in that town? Because I think all of the professionals in the town, the police, the mayor, I don't know if I've heard anything from the dog pound suggesting not dogs are coming up missing. I don't think any of the professional members of society are backing up Trump's claims. So what I'm asking is, why do you think Trump is going to Springfield, Ohio? And we would also bring up the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy is promising to go there too. So what is the goal? What is the goal of going there after saying that? And of course, should he issue any apology or correction at all in regards to him suggesting they are eating cats and dogs? So I want to hear from you folks because, yeah, I'm baffled as to why in the middle of this stuff, now, why he would go there. Because the mayor is stating that they are getting an onslaught of death threats, bomb threats, to the point where they've had to shut down some pharmacies, churches, schools. Parents are taking their kids out of schools. The university in town has switched over to online learning so people don't have to go in places. People in the town are frightened. Apparently, hate groups have shown up in Springfield, Ohio. Now, Springfield, Ohio is a Republican city. Ohio is a Republican state. So this is not liberal oriented. The mayor is urging Trump and Vivek to stay away. So what do you think that they are trying to accomplish? Why do you think Trump is going to Springfield? What is the goal of that? I'm curious to hear what your opinions might be, because this is one where I don't know if I quite have an opinion. I don't quite understand why they would go there. Do you think Trump or Vivek is going to ultimately arrive in Springfield and be able to demonstrate that people are indeed consuming cats and dogs? What's the purpose of going there? That's going to be our first topic, because I'm curious on that. Second topic is the fact that the polls overwhelmingly show, and I know hell of a lot of my audience does not have a lot of temperament or tolerance for the polls, but the polls are the polls. The polls are showing that Trump is doing fairly well with men and Kamala Harris is doing fairly well with women. Now, there is a disclaimer, a difference here. Trump is doing fairly well with white males, not necessarily as well with black males, Hispanic males, or males from other cultures. He is doing better with males from all cultures compared to other Republican predecessors. But for the most part, he's still not going to win 50% of Hispanic or black males. People of color, um, the majority of the people with color are indeed leaning left. The people with color are indeed leaning towards Kamala Harris. But Trump is doing very well with white males. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, doing well with women. It's not based on white, black, she's doing well with women overall. Women across all cultures. She's doing better than Trump with women across all cultures. So the question we're asking today, because there's no shortage of women suggesting, we know what happened with Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade has taken place. We know what happened there. But you got women suggesting that if Trump wins, they're going to lose rights in addition to reproductive issues. So where is that coming from? Is there really a threat that if Trump and J.D. Vance become president and vice president, women will actually lose rights? Or is that simply liberal propaganda, liberal fear mongering to hopefully prevent Trump from getting reelected? Why are women saying that if you elect Trump and JD Vance, you're going to lose rights? After all, there's a hell of a lot of Kamala Harris supporters using the phrase, we're not going back. Back to what? What is Trump and JD Vance promising that's leading women to believe they're going to lose rights, as I stated, or is that simply liberal fear mongering and propaganda? Last but not least, we normally have two topics. You've heard both of those already. Why the hell is Trump going to Springfield, Ohio? And why do women think they're losing rights under a Trump JD Vance administration? But I do want to play an additional clip here, because this is, although not likely as important in regards to the first two issues, but it's relevant. It's certainly relevant to a hell of a lot of Americans. Now, this is Kamala Harris, and this is why a lot of folks on the right are saying that she is not necessarily a favorable candidate to run this country. Now, you guys have probably heard this.
I'm a gun owner, and Tim Walz is a gun owner, and we're not trying to take anybody's guns away from them. But we do need an assault weapons ban. Assault weapons are designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Yes,
and have
assault
no
weapons
place.
ban.
And
Yes.
have no place. I'm going to get to it.
Yes.
And have no place on the streets of a civil society. We need universal background checks, which, to your point about handguns, is about saying that it is just reasonable to want reasonable gun safety laws that say we should do background checks, that we ought to know. It's just reasonable. You might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon, if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You might just want to know. Yes, I am.
So you hear her start up the video by saying her and Tim Walz are gun owners, but she clearly says we need an assault weapons ban. So, simple question, do you think she'd stop at that? Do you feel like your gun rights, do you feel like the Second Amendment could possibly be on the chopping block if Kamala Harris gets elected? Now, I see in the comments, Zara's Time Cop says, great idea. Do you feel like your gun rights might be in jeopardy if Kamala Harris is elected? You hear her clearly here talking about an assault weapons ban, but most Americans do not own the long rifles that she's talking about, the AR-15s, AK-47s, SKS, things like that. Most Americans who do own firearms, it is in the form of a pistol. But do you believe your gun rights, your ability to have a weapon to defend yourself, a firearm, will be in jeopardy if Kamala Harris gets elected? Those are the topics we're going to talk about today. As always, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly, always has been that way, always will be that way. MAGA are our preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome on the program. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Everybody gets to speak on the program. That's how free speech works. What do we always say? You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section. You don't have to agree with the host. No one gets blocked, banned, or censored simply because they have a difference of opinion. Free speech doesn't give a damn. So go into the comment section. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 10,000. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA, certainly makes the program more enjoyable. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. Get the likes up to about 20. We can certainly make that happen. Looking in the comments, cowards own those type of guns. Dan Sal, you're saying that cowards own long rifles, or as Kamala Harris is putting it, assault rifles. Based on what? What the hell would make you say that? I don't see the relevance in that. What do you mean by cowards own those type of guns? That's you have to explain that. Real quick in the comment section, care more about the children than the guns. I think I know where you're going with that. You're suggesting that our society should care more about children than guns. We can debate that. Let me go to the box, starting the program right out. Kenny, good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Kenny. Now, we'll start out with the first topic. Kenny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Now, Trump is talking about going to Springfield, Ohio, the city that is loaded with Haitians eating cats and dogs. Why do you think he's going there?
He wants to put his own spin to it. He wants to find some people there that believes the same thing he believes. And by the way, I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now, so like I've been seeing this news firsthand. I got friends that live in Springfield. I'm black, so I got white friends that live in. I got coworkers that live in Springfield, and that was the first time they ever heard of something like that.
Wow.
So he wants to come to make it seem like it's actually he's already caused chaos. They've had.
Wait. Before you get into that, and I certainly want to hear that. Yeah. How far is Columbus from Springfield?
About 45 minutes.
So not too far. Okay, so what kind of chaos? What effect has this claim that they're eating cats and dogs had on this town?
They have had bomb threats every day. They've had where the kids couldn't go to school. Colleges has been counseling school going online. They haven't been able to hold like certain like they were supposed to have a festival, a cultural festival. They canceled that. Every day this week there has been state police. Governor DeWine ordered state police at every school, at least a dozen at each school, just to make the families feel safe there.
Wow.
And Trump made the whole narrative. The Haitians that are there are here legally. Springfield asked for them to come there because they had this big boom in the business of jobs, and they couldn't find anyone to work. So they had these. I forget what type of visa they're in, like asylum visa, because of what was going on in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And they came over here. They have a whole community. They're over here legally. There's no illegals in as far as Haitians over there. Like,
but are you aware? But are you aware there are members of that city on camera saying that they are indeed consuming pets? There are people in that town that's saying it's happening.
There is, but then there's also people that are also retracting and saying, "Wow, like I found one lady that was on the news said she found her cat in the woods, or the one guy said his cat was in the basement." So like they've seen the effect, the negative effect they've had on Springfield, and now they're starting like to pull it back in. And all the Republican politicians here are like they want Trump and JD Vance to just cut it out or somehow walk it back a little bit, because there's a lot of resources going into Springfield, Ohio, that like emergency crews and everything that are just there, because they have to take every bomb threat or every threat as
real,
as credible until they have to take it as real.
Now I'm hearing that the threats are reportedly coming from overseas, though.
Yeah, they are coming from. They're saying they are coming from overseas, but it wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I will interject and say this. The idea that international emails are coming from Europe or Africa or Asia to this otherwise unknown city suddenly makes no sense. In my opinion, I'm thinking it's probably people using virtual private networks and rerouting their traffic. I mean, the idea that all of a sudden all of a sudden that international emails are suddenly going to this little town, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you one thing. If they don't walk it back some and they keep having this chaos, they're gonna have to mess around and lose Ohio. Ohio's a Republican state, and he won Ohio, but he won because of small towns like Springfield, a lot of little small towns around Columbus. And he's going to mess around and fumble the vote here because they're like that whole town is like turned upside down.
Yeah. Now I see in the comments, one of the viewers, Chimney says the Hells Angels are going to protect the town. Have you seen any outside visitors coming to that city?
I haven't heard of any outside. I do know that there was sighting. They did have on the news. There was Ku Klux Klans here. There was Proud Boys here, marching through the towns. They were particularly outside of this Haitian restaurant in the parking lot, trying to scare the patrons there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's going way further than what they thought. And then the fact that J.D. Vance pretty much said they made the story up to get the media attention.
Yeah. J.D. Vance did say he was trying to draw attention to what's going on, and if he had to make up stories, he would. But you got to admit, they did send a hell of a lot of immigrants to this one town, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they requested for them, and they're all working. They're not using any. They're not using any resources. Like they're not draining the resources. Like they're saying the migrants are like they're trying to make it like the southern border.
So everybody that came there is working. No one is receiving, huh?
They're on work visas. They're on. Even Governor DeWine came on. And he said these people have came to Springfield and turned Springfield around because they could not hire enough people. Ohio is booming right now. We have all these companies coming here for Intel and everything else. We don't have enough people to work at these companies. So
that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make. Here's why that doesn't make sense to me. Now you're in the state, so I'm not doubting what you're saying. Let me make it clear. I'm not trying to disrespect. You're there, so I can't speak. But what I'm saying is this: you had to hire 20,000 migrants. You couldn't find people to come from Indiana or other parts of the state. You're giving people jobs. Nobody else wanted to come there.
I don't.
You breaking up. You're breaking up. Okay, I may have to drop
the mayor of Springfield. They're all Republicans.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, the town is ran by Republican administration, but now you said they wanted them there. Who are they? Was it the mayor or the governor that requested these people come? Okay, apparently his signal's down. All right, Kenny, I'm going to have to drop you. Yeah, I got to drop you. Your signal's going in and out. By the way, folks, tap the screen. I certainly want to talk to Kenny a little bit more with him being damn near on the ground there, but, that's how cell phone signals work. I can't, we have we can't do much more than that. But tap the screen, get the likes up to about 20,000. We're asking the question, why is Trump and to a lesser degree, Vivek Ramaswamy promising to go to Springfield, Ohio? What is the goal? What are they trying to accomplish? Now, we know Trump has stated during the presidential debate that Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs. So what do you think? Why is he going there? Now, I think most of us would agree Trump is unlikely to apologize or run back his comment. He's going to stick with the notion that they're eating cats and dogs. Fine. So what is he going there for? What is the goal of going there? What is the purpose of going there? That's what we're talking about. And then, of course, the secondary topic is so many women are suggesting that if Kamala Harris better yet, if former President Trump gets elected, women are going to lose rights. Outside of rolling back Roe v. Wade or handing it to the states, what rights are women at threat of losing? Or is this simply liberal fear-mongering and propaganda? I'd like to know what rights are women at odds of losing. Going back to the bots, we'll go to, it says the handsome something there. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Bring me up. I'll tell you why. We'll see what happens. Literally none. I support abortion, but still voting for Trump. Well, you're going to lose that, obviously, Erica. You're going to lose that. I don't know. Maybe I may have to switch over to Wi-Fi. Let me try another guess. If I don't bring them up, maybe it's my system is done because I wasn't able to bring up the last guess. Let's try it again here. We'll try a random guess just to see if it's working. Harris up 3 to 4 points in Pennsylvania. Gone. Harris lead is gone. Hang on a second, my caller. Harris up 3 to 4 point lead in Pennsylvania. Gone. CNN and CBS polls this week shows races tied. Trump train is rolling. You call it tie rolling? Stephen, good evening.
Yo, what's up, my man? I ain't talked to you in a while, man. How you doing?
I appreciate it. I'm doing good. So what do you think? You think women, if Trump is elected, do you think there's a legitimate claim that women are losing rights, or is this just liberal fear-mongering?
Well, in that case, I think he's going to do something, but it ain't really much he can do because he did the damage already. So women is fear that he's just going to turn everything over to the states. But really, I didn't get in here to talk. I want to talk about the crisis that he had them people eating dogs and cats.
What say you? Let me hear your side.
To me, don't get me wrong, man. I try not to put emotion and feelings in anything I got to discuss. I like to deal with facts. And the fact to me is this. I don't know why Trump said that. I don't know why he let his peoples didn't say nothing to him. And I always told people, man, I never got nothing against Donald Trump. I'm with him on the immigration bill. Okay. I'm with that. But what I don't understand is this. Why did he not pass the immigration bill? Well, not him. The Republicans didn't pass the immigration bill and just stop everything. And all this could have been avoided.
Well, the answer is obvious. They stated that in the bill there was money to the Ukraine and Israel they didn't agree with, and the bill itself did not go far enough in regards to protecting the border. That's what they're saying. I'll leave it to folks if they believe that or not, but that is what they're saying.
But do you think? See, you know why I can't believe that? Because our crisis ain't with the Ukrainians. Our crisis is the border. The more we let people come in, the worse it's going to get. I don't know. But people got to understand, that's been going on for years. It ain't just happening now. It ain't been dangerous now. It's been happening all the time with drugs coming in. It's just that nobody been bold enough to really stop it. That's what the problem is. Nobody put their feet down and just say, you know what? We're going to close this border. Nobody coming through, and that's it.
So then so you have a unique situation. Let me make sure I'm getting this clear. You are with Trump on protecting the border, but you're questioning why did he let a border bill get by. Now, his opponent is Kamala Harris. So based on what you're saying, just simply on the border alone, we're not going to talk about any other issue right now. If it's only on the border, which one of these candidates do you believe would be best at doing it? You said you support what Trump is saying, but you don't like him not passing he's a part of a bill that didn't get through. Now, I don't know what your take is on Kamala Harris on the border, and we don't really know because she hasn't been in position. But who do you think would be best between those two candidates if the single issue you were concerned with was securing the border?
If Trump is saying everything about the border that he is saying, I believe him on that.
Okay.
But as far as everything else, I can't believe him on everything else. That's like me. I can give you 20 things that I'll do, but maybe one thing somebody might like that I do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So people got to understand that Trump is for himself. Like I said, I don't put feelings in it. I look at facts. And Kamala Harris, to me, I don't trust her.
Wow.
I don't trust her. You understand what I'm saying?
So we got one person that's a narcissist and the other one is unreliable and untrustworthy. Not a good election, huh?
She got to prove to me that she's for the people. Prove to me that she's for the people. And another thing, I don't try to make this white and black or Spanish or whatever you want to call it. It's funny that executive order be passed for anything else but for the people. Like, you see something that ain't right, speak on it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but
speak on it.
Before we hang on, let me chop the conversation up. Before we get into that, you stated that you don't trust Kamala Harris. Can you elaborate on why don't you trust her? Now, she hasn't been in national office other than a VP, and you don't really see her in the spotlight, but why don't you trust her? What has she done to lead you to believe she's not trustworthy?
Because she locked a lot of people up for dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, everybody that get locked up from dumb stuff is not a bad person. They might have a problem. You understand what I'm saying? You get somebody that get locked up, say for a gram of coke. You're locking them up. See if they got a problem. Don't just throw away the key. So she got that history behind her, and that's going to stain her a little bit. So from somebody of color, I got to look at her like, what is she going to do if she get that power?
Fair enough. Now, and that's a fair point. You're not the only one saying it. So in contrasting her to former President Trump, now you mentioned you believe Trump is out for himself, but in regards to Kamala Harris and you not trusting her, do you trust Trump? No. In some aspects, no, because he's showing me stuff that I don't agree with. It's one thing, you got to be okay. I might don't trust him all the way, but when you show me stuff time and time, I got to say either he hard-headed or he don't care. What has Trump done to lose your trust? What has he shown you, as you're saying?
Disrespectful. He don't listen to the people. When you trying to run office, you got to listen to the people. You don't put, okay, I'm gonna lower taxes, or I'm gonna try to give you better health care. If you is, tell me what it is.
Oh.
And he can't explain that. Don't get up there and say, well, I got some. If Obamacare is messed up, fix it. If you got something better than it, fix it. You want to change it? You have a better one. Lower taxes for the poor. Poor people living check to check. Minimum wage is messed up because rent is too high. So it doesn't matter if you're not going to raise it to $30 an hour, people are always going to struggle. It's going to always struggle. And the thing about it, people just like I said, if you rely on the truth and you see things for what it is, and you don't let feelings get in the way, and you can still go the way you want to, but don't let the emotions mess your judgment up.
So Stephen, what I'm concerned with listening to your description of both of these individuals, and they're basically all we have. Are you going to participate in November?
I'm still waving on that. Right now, I'm really leaning more towards Kamala Harris because, like I said, I got 2 felonies on my jacket. I can't even get an apartment. It's hard. But I got an apartment, but it took them. I can't see nobody with 34 felonies being president. Okay. I can't see.
But I'm hearing that I'm hearing that stuff was a witch hunt, and they only did that because he's president.
My thing is this. When everything is a witch hunt until they find evidence. And I tell people from the beginning when all this started, I said, y'all got to understand, if Trump was to just gave every single box of them files back, everything back, that first time they asked him, we wouldn't be here where we at today.
Well, but that's not even where the 34 felonies came from. Those cases.
No, what I'm saying is this. If he gave them back, they didn't have nothing.
My caller went on mute. Maybe he had a call come in. Looking in the comments, you are very intelligent. She would be better for you than Trump. Go ahead. Keep going, Steve.
No, because it's like when cops come to you, give them everything they want from the door. Don't hold bits and pieces, because when you do that, they go digging deeper and they find stuff they don't supposed to find. And that's what happened.
So what you're basically saying, one of the most common reprimands to say African Americans that have a bad ending with police is, this would not have happened if you just complied. Sound like you're saying that about Trump.
Exactly. That's what exactly.
Well,
Exactly. If you want to get somebody and you figure you got a lawsuit, have your dash cam or whatever. And just reply then this way, when you go to court, y'all, I did do this, and everything they asked me, I did it. Why they beat me up? But like I said, man, this has been going on for years. Me personally, the system they should come up with, they shouldn't have no Democrats. They shouldn't have no Republicans. They should have a device under everybody's chair in the office where they put a bill up. If they put a bill up, nobody got to know who's working on that bill. You just push 1 or 2 if you like the bill. For example, what I mean is this. Say you got a bill coming up where you want to lower rent in the United States. You put the bill up, and they put it on the floor. Everybody vote 1 or 2 if you like the bill, if you don't like it. But this way, you don't have that. Okay, the Democrats is doing it. Oh, no, the Republicans are doing it. If you get the votes, the bill passed. The vote don't pass, then okay, you try it again. But when you got 2 different people deciding on what's going to be done, one can say, look, we're not going to do nothing. Or if I'm controlling the House, we're not going to pass, even though it's a good bill. It could be a 100% good bill. And whoever's running the House, it's coming from them, so we're not going to pass it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You want to take the labels and you want to take all the divisiveness out of it by kind of almost like a cloak and dagger. I actually kind of like that. I think I would tweak a hell of a lot what you just said, but I do understand what you're saying and I do favor it. Steven, I do got to move on though. Appreciate you coming in here. Thank you.
Man, it was nice talking to you, man. I ain't talked to you in a while, man. You be blessed, and I like what you do on here. I'm about to start my own. And I hope to see you in my room one day, man.
Send me an invite. I'm always willing to support. Thank you.
All right, I got you. Everybody on here, if y'all can hear me, take care.
All right. Okay, and by the way, on YouTube, CRX Joe, thank you for the super chat. Our founding fathers were felons. Yes, but they didn't have a government in place at that time to label it as such. You talk about, because obviously what the colonizers did to the people in this country was awful, to the Native Americans, but there was no government in place to hold them accountable. By today's standards, yeah, they would be hanging out with P. Diddy, slave trafficking, you name it. They were doing all that stuff. All right, looking in the comments, 47 days to be exact, says God's Pirate. That is true. Do you think other countries will respect Kamala at sit-down, says Aaron Paris. Good question. I'll go back to the box. Tap the screen while I answer this question. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 30,000. We can certainly make that happen. Smash that like button on YouTube. Get us up to about 40. They don't block, ban, or censor anyone. That's how free speech works. You don't have to agree with the host or anyone else on the program. Yet we believe in letting you speak regardless. That's how open we are. Now, do I believe Kamala Harris will be respected? I almost having another bite moment. Respected, not expected. Do I believe Kamala Harris will be respected by other world leaders on the world stage? Yes and no. Yes and no. Now, she is a female, so there are plenty of misogynistic nations out there. Hell, some would say we are one. But the Middle East, for instance, does not believe a woman should have the place of Kamala Harris. But then again, they probably didn't favor Condoleezza Rice or Hillary Clinton in that position either, and they were still able to accomplish quite a bit. Fact is, it doesn't matter what the gender of the president is if they have the entire nation operating behind them. I'll give you a perfect example. I think her name was Griselda or something like that. There was a female godmother, talking about folks who are in the drug game, folks who pay attention to these movies on Netflix or whatever. She was a woman. She was a woman deep in the game. She was a drug lord. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter that she's a woman. If you know she can make a phone call and wipe your ass out and your entire family, her gender is irrelevant. You know what kind of power is behind her. That's the same with Kamala Harris. If she becomes president, yeah, she's sitting across from, whoever, whether it's Putin, whether it's Kim Jong-un, but she won't be sitting across from Kim Jong-un, but Xi Jinping, you name it. They know she has the entire weight of the U.S. government and U.S. military behind her. So at the end of the day, you got to respect her. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, many of them that serve Trump, many of the same military officials that serve Biden are going to still be serving her. So if she gives the green light, thank you for the graphic there. Was that Arlita? Somebody just sent me that. BM, I don't know who just said that. Oh, DJ Julio. Thank you for that. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you know Kamala Harris' signature can result in the military taking action, doesn't really matter the gender, culture, doesn't matter if she's 2 feet tall, 10 feet tall. The results are the same. The results are the same. So yeah, they will respect her. They may not like her in that position, but the same aircraft carrier that would be outside of your country is going to be there whether Trump is in office or Kamala Harris is in office. The same strike group, the same platoons and Marines, they're going to show up if she signs the order or Trump. It's not going to change. So why would you treat her any different? Getting bombed is getting bombed. Doesn't matter that the signature says Kamala Harris. A bomb is a bomb. So yeah, I think she'll be respected. Good question though. Looking in the comments, do you see how they treat us with Joe in there versus Trump? C. Davis, I don't know. Before I go back to the box, when you say how they treat us with Joe in there versus Trump, who's treating us differently under the Biden administration versus Trump? The only difference I've really seen of significance is Russia deciding to go into the Ukraine, and that obviously did not happen under Trump. And Biden has continued to assist the Ukrainians, and it has literally led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Russian soldiers. They've lost a lot of equipment, manpower, blood, and treasure. So if Vladimir Putin thought Biden was weak, DJ Julio, thank you for the works. Appreciate it. If Vladimir Putin believed that Biden was a much weaker world leader than Trump and had the notion that, well, right now is a time to make my move on the Ukraine because we got a weak world leader in the United States, that hasn't panned out. I don't think there's anybody that believed when Vladimir Putin decided to invade the Ukraine in February of 2022, he would still expect that war to be going on in September of 2024. So clearly, Biden is turning out to be a far stronger adversary than Vladimir Putin predicted. So just giving you the facts. CRX Joe, once again, thank you for the support. Appreciate it. If Trump doesn't win, America is done. Our freedoms will be gone. That's a hell of a statement, CRX Joe. Listen, at the end of the day, Trump may be the best presidential choice for this country going forward. But if he's not, I don't believe Kamala Harris is going to destroy the whole country. Now, I'm old enough, maybe some of you are too, to remember folks saying that if Obama got elected, he was going to take everybody's guns away. He was going to raise taxes to 70% and turn us into socialist Greece. Venezuela was not the failed country at the time. It was Greece. None of that happened. Obama didn't come close, remotely close, to turning America into a socialist country. But they were saying that Obama was just as bad as what they're saying about Kamala Harris. I don't, and they're saying that Trump is going to, obviously put women in chains and damn near put blacks in slavery. I don't really buy into Armageddon politics. If you don't like a candidate, I can get it, but saying the world's going to end, we're going to be communists, fascists, Marxists, socialists, I don't buy into it. Maybe I'm wrong. Michael, who's it? Thank you. Fairly generous. Thank you there. Appreciate the super chat. The government the founding fathers rebelled against was the British Crown. British soldiers acted as police. That is a great correction of what I said earlier. The actions were considered treason. There was definitely a government, and we had to fight an entire war for independence. Yeah, but you also had the benefit of a huge sea preventing the British from really being able to deliver their weight upon America. Now, you're right. There was a war for that. You are correct. There was a war for that. It's great. That's a great correction. I'll certainly concede that point. And thank you for the super chat and pointing that out. You are right. I'm pro-Trump, says Chris. I cannot even pretend to pronounce your last name, Mr. Corcordell or something like that. I'm pro-Trump, but love the facts you're spitting. I'll take that. I'll take that. And I don't always get them right, folks. Understand I'm not a know-it-all. Just like I just showed you with the previous comment, some folks can correct your boy. I do appreciate that. And CRX Joe says, okay, but what did Obama do for black people? Wow, you're coming hard today. Okay, I'm going to go back to the box, but I did want to address these super chats. What did Obama do for black people? And I've addressed this many times. Yeah, alter ego. Thank you for the hat and mustache. What did Obama do for black people? First of all, I've said this numerous times. Obama being from Chicago and being African American, well, depends on who you ask. Because when he ran for office, he was partially white, kind of like what they did to Kamala Harris. He's not black, he's white, no, whatever the case may be. Let's be real. If Obama was elected president and he started really doing a hell of a lot of things for black people, a hell of a lot of things for Chicago, what would folks say? We didn't elect the president of black people. We didn't elect the president of Chicago. By you doing so much for black, you're damn racist. We elected you to be the president of America, not of black people. They would be calling him a racist. But now, because he didn't specifically deal with black people, all of a sudden now he's a failure. I don't think he could have won on that, CRX Joe. I don't think he could have won on that one. Because, yeah, if he had did a hell of a lot for blacks, even let's say he did exactly what he did now, where many believe he did not do much for blacks. Let's say he didn't do much for blacks at all, but he was doing exactly what Trump is doing, stating, I did more for blacks than anybody since Abraham Lincoln. That's an actual quote from Trump. If Obama was going around bragging that he did that much for black people, they would certainly be saying he's a racist. And he got in office and specifically only tried to help out his own kind. He wasn't going to win on that. He was not going to win on that. That's my humble opinion. And I see Jim O'Holic says, ain't a lie. Okay. All right, Jim O'Holic, appreciate your input. All right, so going back to the box, Tim for Trump says BMX 75. Remember the old BMX bikes? Okay, then what did he do for Americans? That's a different question. What did Obama do for Americans? Obamacare helped out a lot of Americans. Now, there's plenty of Americans that do not like it as well, but Obamacare helped out a lot of Americans. What do we give Trump credit for? The number one issue Trump gets credit for, a good economy. If you look at the American economy, when Obama was sworn into office, January of 2009, and you look at the economy when he left office and gave the reins to Trump in January 2017, there is no denying the U.S. economy improved under Obama. So when you ask, what did Obama do for Americans? I'm going to say universal health care. I'm going to certainly say the economy, because the economy improved significantly under Obama. In fact, some folks even suggest that Trump's economy was partially because he inherited such good runnings from Obama. But certainly the economy improved under Obama. And last but not least, the killing of bin Laden should be in there. I think Trump would be bragging. I mean, he bragged about taking out Soleimani from Iran. So Obama should get credit for the death of bin Laden happening under his watch. I think those three are pretty damn good. And I think Trump would be taking credit if they happened under him. Going back to the box, and somebody says no scandals. That is not true. There was an IRS scandal under Obama. There was Fast and Furious under Obama. And there was a Solyndra solar panel issue. There were a few. Not compared to the shit you're seeing nowadays. But there were some scandals under Obama. Going back to the box. I don't know what I just tapped there. And we'll try to make it happen. Real quick, going back to the box, Double Luck. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Now, we're asking, women are saying they're going to lose rights if Trump is elected. Pat Carlson, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Trump going to Springfield, that's going to cause even more problem than what they've already got there. Because of Trump and Vance starting that BS with the cats and dogs, you do realize that a sheriff of one county has put out a tweet or a message telling people he wants the addresses of every Democrat in his county. That way, if Kamala gets elected, he's going to take these Haitians to their homes and say, here's your new home.
Okay, first of all, now you're saying a sheriff stated that?
The sheriff.
He should be fired. He should be fired for doing that.
You're right.
Yeah, he should be fired.
He should. Now, another thing that you were talking about is Kamala and regarding guns and all, about her saying, well, you know, I own guns and such. Well, I'm 64 years old. When I was 18 years old, I was convicted of sales and possession of stolen property, a felony.
Okay.
Because of that, I cannot own a handgun. But
now wait a minute. You said you're how old?
64 years old.
And this happened. How old when this happened?
18.
Have you gotten any trouble since then?
No.
Wow. What state are you in?
Idaho.
Well.
Now here,
wow.
check this out. Check this out. According to the law, I cannot own a handgun, but I can own an AR-57 or
15. AR-15. Wow, that's crazy. Andy, thank you.
I can own an assault rifle because my crime occurred before the Brady Bill. Because of the Brady Bill, felons can no longer own long rifles either. But beans mine was before the Brady Bill, I'm grandfathered in. I can own an assault rifle.
Well, first of all, let me just say it's insane that a felon from the age of 18, I mean, you're talking, what is that, a 40 some odd year, 50 years?
44 years ago.
Yeah, that's at some point, and this is why I strongly believe that, you know, once a felon has been let out the system, allow that person to get their life back. I don't think there should be any lifelong punishments on a felon, unless, if that's the case, keep them locked up. If you believe that there's something they've done that's so bad that it should be around the rest of their life, then why let them out? Why let somebody out and keep all of this shit over their head for the rest of their lives? So I'm not a fan of that. Yeah.
It's just like your guest before. He said he has 2 felonies on him, and it makes it next to impossible to get a home, you know, rent a home, to get a job, or anything else. People make mistakes. They screw up when they're young. Like the saying goes, young and dumb. Yeah. I did something stupid when I was a young kid.
Well, you do realize that one party is tougher on crime than the other. And I think that a lot of folks do not want the felons to be able to vote, because the felons are going to vote for the party that's likely to be softer on crime. And the party that's tougher on crime knows that. So they're not interested in letting you vote again. And by the way, driver 715, thank you for that renewal. I appreciate that. So now what you're dealing with in Idaho, that's not nationwide though, is it?
As far as the gun?
I mean, as far as your felony preventing you from owning a firearm, is that a federal law?
That is a federal law.
Wow.
If you have a felony on you, you cannot own a long rifle. You cannot own a handgun.
For the rest of your natural life?
Federal law.
For the rest of your for the rest of your life.
Unless you can get it expunged from your record.
Damn. I thought after a certain period of time they stopped even messing with you for felonies. Like, what? I thought it was like 7 to 10 years. I mean, you're talking 40-some years. I didn't think it even came up at that point.
Well, as far as all right, now your previous guest, he says he's having problems renting and things like that. They can't, you know, a normal person cannot find, you know, like when they do a background check on you, they cannot find my felony. It's too old. It's too old. But when I go to get a handgun,
it comes up.
That background check prevents me from getting a handgun. I cannot own a handgun.
Have you tried to get a handgun?
Assault rifle.
Have you tried to
Yes,
get a
I
handgun
have.
and it came up?
Yes, I have.
I'm surprised you didn't get
Yes,
the.
I have, and I was denied.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get the Hunter Biden treatment for even trying.
What's that?
I said, I'm surprised you didn't get the Hunter Biden treatment for even trying.
Well, you know, there's a difference between what I did and what Hunter Biden did.
Yeah.
I filled out the paperwork and tried to go the legal way of getting a handgun.
You told
I
the
was
truth.
denied.
You told the truth.
Biden, he got his hand. I mean, technically, I can go out to a flea market and buy a handgun. I can go on to Facebook Marketplace. I can buy a handgun. But if I get caught with that handgun, I get a charge.
Wow.
But I can own an assault rifle.
That doesn't make sense. So your felony from 40-some years ago prevents you from getting a pistol, but you can get your hands on a long rifle that obviously does more damage. And you're 100% certain that that's the law the way it is. I have never heard that.
Right, that is correct. Because I don't remember what president and what person. There was a politician by the name of Brady that was shot with a
Yeah, during the Reagan era. Yeah, that happened. He's been in the.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
That created the Brady Bill. Any felons prior to the Brady Bill, if you were convicted of a felony, you could not own a handgun, but you could own a long rifle. Because my felony was before the Brady Bill, I am still entitled to own any long rifle.
That's fucked up. All right, fair enough. So do you think that Kamala Harris, because now in regards to talking about the presidential candidates, do you think Kamala Harris would maybe help change your situation at all?
I doubt it. I mean, she can, what I see her doing as far as my situation is trying to take the assault weapon from me.
So Nick, so she's
I can see her doing that.
No, so she's trying to disarm you entirely.
Right. Well, you see, they're trying to do away with the assault rifles, but that's still a lot of long rifles.
Right.
It's like you were talking a while back about a shotgun. Somebody said, give everybody a shotgun. Well, your shotgun can be, all right, you can have birdshot in there, which fires hundreds of little pellets that spread out. Then you could go to one that has like 3 or 4 pellets in it, or you could go to one that has 1 pellet in it.
Okay, but so in other words, if you are concerned, because I mean, I'm not going to ask whether or not, but it sounds like you may be in possession of a long rifle or whatever the case may be. But do you?
I am.
Okay, so are you more likely to vote for Trump because he's not going to interfere with that? I mean, it sounds like you should be voting for Trump.
Not.
Why not?
Absolutely not. Why not? Because Trump has lied about every damn thing in the world. Everything in the world. He has lied about it. You know,
But Kamala Harris, hang on. You're admitting that Kamala Harris is going to disarm you. Kamala Harris will take your ability away to protect yourself. Why would you vote for her?
Because there's still, she's the less, in my opinion, she's the lesser of the two evils. All right, you talk about that some people, it's the Second Amendment, and then other people, it's the economy, and other people, it's the border. All right, let's look at the border, for example. Trump was going to build this beautiful wall, right?
With a door in it.
Who did he say was going to pay for that wall?
Mexico.
And did Mexico pay for it? No.
Come on, Pat. You know, hold on, hang on. You know that was taken out of context. What Trump was talking about doing was correcting the trade imbalance with Mexico, imposing tariffs on their goods, matching what they were doing to our stuff, and using that money to buy the wall. He wasn't talking about them writing a check.
I don't know that.
Oh my God. Come on now.
As far as tariffs, let's even look at tariffs. I don't care how much of a tariff you add on. Who's paying for that? Those companies? Hell no.
No,
We are.
they pass it down to the
It's
consumer.
put on us. So by putting 100% tariff on something, that's just going to raise that product up 100%.
Yeah, that could happen. But at the end of the day, I'm really surprised. I'm gonna have to move it on, but I'm surprised that you're willing to vote for Kamala while admitting she's going to disarm you. You've been enjoying your Second Amendment rights at least to a small degree, and you're going to vote for the woman that's going to disarm you?
How many presidents have tried doing gun rights of some sort or another? Saying you're going to do something, it's like I always say, one thing you can believe about a politician, and that is if their lips are moving, they are lying.
So in other words, while she's saying it, you don't fear it's going to happen, in other words. You think she's just...
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I don't, because she can't just sit there and sign an executive order and say, all right, we're taking all your guns from you.
True.
That doesn't happen.
That is true. That is true. There will be plenty of difficulty, and most likely, I think...
There will be difficulties. Yeah. There will be... I mean, let's put it this way. A president signs an executive order. How many times does a president sign an executive order and all of a sudden the lawsuits come in and it's said, oh, that's against the Constitution, done away with?
That's a good point. All right, Pat, I do got to move it on, but I do agree with you. It would be very difficult for her to take away assault weapons. I think there's been plenty of folks that have tried. Obama even talked about doing it after 20 children lost their lives at Sandy Hook, and he came up empty as well. So thank you for coming on, though, Pat, as always. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, and looking in the comments, I see somebody said, win, Pat. All right, looking at the comments, I did want to address a few super chats. I didn't want to ignore that. Starting with Sierra's Joe, said Obamacare was crap. My mother's insurance went way up. I have to work 6 and sometimes 7 days a week since Biden has taken off. Well, Obamacare and Biden are you're bringing up problems of the Biden administration, fine, but that has nothing to do with Obamacare. In regards to Obamacare being crap, it depends on who you ask. You think the people who had no insurance at all, or folks who were being denied for pre-existing conditions, you think they thought Obamacare was crap? It's crap for you. Everything a president does is crap for somebody else out there. I don't care how much you think it benefits America. There is some other American out there that it is crap for that person. Nothing is perfect in a nation of 350 plus million people. Everything they do is crap for somebody else. Poop of... Wow, what kind of name is that? Poop of fuck... I can't even pronounce it. It's so complicated. I'll just go with poop. GOP raised race alarms with Obama. Okay, I remember 07 and 08 well because of that. He's a brown Muslim, etc. GOP watered down the Affordable Care Act. Dems ceded to compromise. I don't think I disagree with any of that. Now, he started out by saying the grand old part, the Republicans raised race alarms with Obama. They certainly were saying that he wasn't black and born in Kenya. That was coming up. I think we all agree with that. Now, he says, I remember in 2007 and 2008, well, because of that, and it certainly was coming up. I mean, he's the first black president. There's no first black anything, any professional position of prominence. First black general, first black ball player, you name it, they're going to raise race alarms. I think that's been happening throughout history. If you're the first black to do this, you're going to have some folks that are, going to push back racially. But anyway, he also said he's a brown Muslim. That certainly came up. Wasn't it John McCain who took the microphone from a Republican supporter that said she would never vote for Obama solely because he was a Muslim? People were believing that. Also, why his middle name got highlighted often. Hussein is his middle name, Barack Hussein Obama, and they were certainly playing that up because it plays to the claim that he's a Muslim. Anyhow, GOP watered down the Affordable Care Act. That's typical political resistance. Yeah, that's going to happen because if the Democrats did not water down Trump's goal of the wall or protecting the border, Trump would have got what he wanted. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, Obama's signature promise was universal health care. The right is not going to let him go down in history as the guy who gave health care to everybody, so they're going to push back. Even if they may believe it's right for the country, which is what one of my callers earlier was talking about, putting ballots under the seat and voting and not telling people. Because of that, you could have a great plan or great course of action for this country. And if the other side realizes what you're about to pass is really great and may make you, end up being memorialized historically, they're going to fight back. Not because it's a bad proposal, but because they don't want that side to have all of the votes for who knows how long. Some would argue that's exactly why Trump fought to not have the border bill get by. Because if all of a sudden border crossings drop under Biden, it's going to hurt his chances. Not about really securing the border. I don't want you to ruin my chances of getting reelected. That does happen. And I'm not just talking about solely from Trump. That absolutely does happen. Real quick, going back to the comment section before we move on. Big Cat, thank you for the super chat, says he needs to petition for a pardon. That's in relation to my last caller suggesting that he is in his 60s and still unable to purchase a pistol because of a felony committed at the age of 18. He needs to petition for a pardon. He may get it at that point. 40 years? Damn. 40 years. I mean, what excuse? I mean, and he said it was for weapons charges. I mean, 40 years ago, 44 years ago. Yeah, maybe he might actually get it. DD Gaming, thank you for the super chat, says people showing how blind they are by the illusion of comfort, forgetting what countries are like. I don't quite get that, DD Gaming. It says people showing how blind they are by the illusion of comfort, forgetting what other countries are like. So other countries, the citizens do not live in comfort, and you're saying that one of our candidates is promising to make the people comfortable? You'd have to go in a little bit more detail of that. Anyway, going back to the box, Tim with that sign, I'm taking your black card. Damn, Derek. Derek is stating that, I suppose the sign that's on the monitor, there you go. How about that, Derek? God. The Trump 2024 said it's a flag. I was about to put fuck your feelings up there. Wow, the flag made me lose my black card. I am hurt, but I don't believe in block banning or censoring, so that's how the program runs. We believe in free speech here. Going back to, by the way, on TikTok, a lot of lazy thumbs in here. We should have been around 60, 70. At least get us to 50 now. Got almost 700 of you folks in here on TikTok. Smash that like button on YouTube. We can certainly get up to about 70 on YouTube. I think the top 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner of your screen gives you access to the like button on YouTube. By the way, folks, if you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you for your commentary or dictate what you should say or how the hell you should think, you are in the right place. We're about free speech here. All sides get to speak. Be critical of anybody in the comment section, including the host. If you enjoy that, follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. We are here Monday through Friday. In the comments, you shouldn't defend Trump. He doesn't like blacks. Defend the person that's not racist. Well, if Trump's economy is good, I'm going to not defend that because of what your opinion, or if I believe that there was no global conflicts under Trump compared to Biden. I hear your point, but there's a lot of African Americans that disagree that Trump hates blacks, as you state. The amount of African Americans, particularly male, that are supporting Trump is higher than most of the other Republican presidential candidates in our lifetime. I'm talking about the Romneys, the McCains, the Bushes, the Reagans. Trump is doing fairly well with black males compared to them. Now, I'm not saying he's going to come anywhere near 50%. He's not going to win the black vote over Democrats. But I'm saying that that his support has improved in regards to other Republicans. So I'll leave it at that. Going back to the box, one of my subscribers there, Michael, let's see if we can make it work here. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Now, we're also talking about Trump going to Springfield, Ohio. Michael, why do you think that is? What do you think the goal of Trump and possibly Vivek Ramaswamy holding rallies in Springfield? What do you think the goal of that is?
What's up, Tim? They're spiraling, man. There is not. there was nothing positive that can come from their visit to Springfield. And the mayor's already said it's not a good idea.
Well, you say nothing positive. How about the fact that they literally drowned that town in immigrants, and it did not get national attention until Trump and J.D. Vance started drawing attention to it? Could that be a positive for that town?
Well, it's not positive when you tell a lie. I mean, if we're saying to draw attention to something, you have to lie about it.
Yeah. Well, J.D. Vance said that.
And well, absolutely. Now, if the mayor and the local citizens are saying it's not a good idea to come here right now, they're already dealing with Proud Boys being there. They're already dealing with KKK coming there. They're already dealing with having bomb threats from the very people. All of that started from the very people that say they want to go there now. How the hell can that be positive for what they're trying to do?
But that's not what the information is stating there, Michael. They're suggesting that the bomb threats are coming from overseas.
It all started based on the lies they told. Nobody on this show was thinking about Springfield, Ohio, until these lies came out, which means even if those bomb threats came from overseas, it was precipitated by the lies they told.
True.
You can't just ignore that fact
that is true.
Then say now we're going to Springfield, and to say that you're going to deport Haitian immigrants to Venezuela, which makes no damn sense. None of that helps.
But let me read. Okay, but like Evelyn on YouTube, Evelyn Smith says because you mentioned the KKK and Proud Boys. Now she's stating. Now she asked the question, rhetorical question, how many? She's saying back it up with evidence. Is there actual evidence that hate groups went to that town, or is this once again maybe some liberal propaganda? Did it really happen?
They literally showed video on TV of the Proud Boys organized walking through a parking lot, and they're not even denying that they weren't there. So in this video that you can easily find,
KKK as well. The KKK as well.
The actual KKK, they showed that the KKK had literature that they were handing out.
Now, I haven't seen that, so I'm actually curious because just like Evelyn asked.
You'll find it. Listen, you're going to find it just like anybody else can find it if they just do a little bit of damn research and stuff. You know what? I was going to ask you about this topic and any other topic. For all the Trump supporters, and what we're hearing is there's nothing that he could do to change their mind about who he is for this country and who he's been. There's nothing he could possibly do.
I don't think so. I mean, I think I think that they see. Go ahead. What you saying?
Think about this. If you think about what he's done, and look at his resume, the things that he's, whether it's the felonies, whether it's the adjudicated rapist, whether it's the lying, whether it's the misogynistic, xenophobic, anti-Semitic, what hasn't he done?
Well, but a lot of things you're putting on his resume, they don't believe that stuff is accurate. They believe that a lot of that is witch hunts and liberal fear-mongering. They don't believe that stuff. Like you're talking about misogyny and you're talking about the felonies.
Yeah.
Even I will tell you though, even some folks on the left, and I got to say, even myself, I believe that if Trump was not running for president, those 34 felonies that's on his record from that Alvin Bragg case, he would have had Michael Cohen, who would have still been his lawyer. They would have worked out a deal with the state, paid a little bit of fine, and I don't think it would have went further than that. I do believe that at least that case, I'm not talking about the documents case or finding 11,000 votes, that's something totally different that hasn't been adjudicated. But the 34 felonies, I don't believe that would have happened if he was still president. I mean, if he wasn't running for president. And let me add to this. And just to be fair, I don't believe what happened to Hunter Biden would have happened either if Joe Biden wasn't his dad. Go ahead.
I don't disagree with you at all, but everything you said actually goes directly to my point, because it doesn't change the fact that he did it. It doesn't change the fact that he's been accused. You know, it's funny. And that was my point. So what can he do? Because it's easy to say you don't believe it. If you want to hold your position that he's your guy, then you can't believe it. Because if you believe it, it says something about you, just like it does about him.
No. Well, in regards to what...
I don't believe it.
in regards to what he can do or cannot do, I'll just say it from this standpoint. The Trump supporters believe that the liberals pose such an existential threat to this nation, possibly turning it communism into communist or into socialism, that they're willing to ignore criticisms or even flaws of the Trump administration because they believe the Democrats are just that bad. They believe that under Biden or under Obama or certainly under Kamala Harris, the country's going to fall completely apart economically and that we may get invaded. So they're willing to overlook some of the criticisms you're giving to Trump because Kamala Harris appears to be just that bad to them.
So even if that's their position, I will say, just like they're always asking for evidence, they're always asking Kamala to explain whatever she's got to explain, even after she explains it, it's never good enough. So I'll say, where's there evidence in the history of this country? Where's there evidence that a Democratic-led administration was any of those things that they're saying?
Well, I'll certainly start out with there has been a host of Democratic politicians, including Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and I believe Obama, but I'm gonna put Trump in this category too, that threaten Second Amendment rights. And for the right, that's a deal breaker, generally, except with Trump. But generally, for the right, if you're talking about messing with the Second Amendment, that alone is a deal breaker. And Kamala Harris, Obama, and Biden did it, but they gave Trump a pass because he did it as well.
That's my point. So what we're truly saying is, back to my other question, there is nothing that can happen because everyone they're stuck in how they're feeling about Trump and JD Vance.
Yeah.
Well,
JD Vance is not in this conversation. They'll throw JD Vance under the bus with one wave of the finger from Trump. So don't put JD Vance in this conversation. He could easily be Mike Pence.
That's very true. It can happen tomorrow, right?
It could happen tomorrow. It could happen tomorrow.
That tells you how twisted this way of thinking is. Because he says one thing, you just summarily, blindly get on board and follow it. That is the definition of cult of personality.
I didn't say it.
What other evidence do you want? What other evidence do you want?
I didn't say that. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I do believe that JD Vance, if JD Vance falls on the wrong side of Trump, I don't think MAGA would have an issue with sacrificing JD Vance, just like with Mike Pence and some of the other former Republican heroes. So what? He's gone. There was a time when McCain or Romney or the Bush family, those were the heroes of the Republican Party at one point, and you see where they are now. So I do believe JD Vance, because JD Vance is on video comparing Trump to Hitler and saying he never liked him. I'm surprised Trump even picked that dude. You got someone like Tim Scott literally saying, "I love you, man," and he goes with the dude who compared him to Hitler. I don't understand that.
I do, because at the time they thought that Joe Biden lost that debate so bad it didn't matter who picked.
That's a good point.
And with all the work that JD Vance and his other followers put in for Project 2025, which is real,
Wait a minute. Project 2025 is real, but Trump says he had nothing to do with it, though.
I understand what he said, and that's what I'm saying. And all he has to do is say it, and they will follow him blindly. But his name is in that document over 300 times, right? Yeah. It's a 900-page document. Sadly, I had too much time on my hands to start to peruse through a lot of it. It is. Tim, listen, you're called the handsome liberal, and if somebody went out and wrote a piece on the handsome liberal, and your name was through it, and then your brother had written in there, then your mom wrote in there, and then your best friend wrote in there.
I get it.
His wife wrote in there, and all these people are writing in there. But you say, after you got over 100 people that know you personally or work for you, they wrote this thing, and they said, and then you get on this live and say, I don't even know what they're talking about. I've never seen it, never heard of it. Sometimes you got to govern your lies a little bit. Shit, you never heard of it?
Yeah, I will. And by the way, JD Vance wrote the foreword for Project 2025, so he actually wrote in it. But I will agree with you that at the very least, if Trump had nothing to do with Project 2025, the idea that you don't know it, everybody's blaming this on you, and you didn't even pick it up to read it, to find out what, for him to say, I don't know nothing about it, makes no sense. If everybody's blaming something on me that's unpopular, I would certainly go out and familiarize myself with what the hell they're talking about. The idea that he's saying he don't know nothing about it at this point, this stage in the game, doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
It doesn't pass the smell test. And here's the thing: he watches and listens to everything on TV about him. If he's in it, he's reading it, he's watching it, he responds to it. Everything.
Yeah. My issue is. Yeah, my issue is Trump is always known to punch back, or if somebody attacks him or causes him issues, he fights back. The fact that he is not attacking any of the folks that are affiliated with Project 2025 or saying anything, criticize him. Same thing about the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, and the governor of Ohio, who are Republicans. They're saying he's lying, and he's not attacking them or pushing back at all. That is odd. That is odd. If they're calling you a liar, Trump normally would be going apeshit, going after somebody that's doing that, and he's not saying anything about those folks.
Got to make it make sense, Tim. You got to make it make sense, and I've just come to the realization that people that are still saying that despite his character flaws, despite all this, you can't even talk policy accurately about what his resume, what his 4-year term was. They're just not going to move. They're just not going to move. And that's okay. Everybody has a right to make their own decision, but it just kind of tells you where we're going. We have millions of people that will look past all of those flaws to put somebody in that seat. And as a parent, if there's parent voting, you're safe. That's how I look at it.
Well, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, I do got to move it on, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier, they believe Kamala Harris is going to destroy this nation. So everything you're bringing up about Trump, they're going to overlook it because they believe Kamala Harris is just that bad. I'll give you the last word. I got to move
on. The government shut down, right? So Trump he's sticking his nose into that right now. Congress should be working independent of any candidate or the president. The fact that he would stick his nose in the immigration bill, he wasn't president at that time. He was running for president. The fact that that the Republicans in Congress would even allow him to sway their position on that should tell people exactly where we're at. That is dictatorial, and that's scary because Congress is supposed to work independent of the president's wishes. They're supposed to be working for the people from their districts. They're not supposed to be working for what he wants. They're supposed to be working for the people. So when he goes and tells them that tells me that those people in Congress are not working for their constituents. They're working for his demented ass, and that's sad because that's not what it's supposed to be. Why the hell vote them in if they're not listening to? Or it could be worse. Maybe they are.
Yeah. Well, I think the congressmen that supported Trump on the border bill, their constituents wanted them to do that. But Michael, I got to move on. Appreciate you coming through. All right, moving on with the program. What does I say in the comments? Trump's Project 2025 will jail women and their doctors. And that is part of the second topic. You got a hell of a lot of women, in addition to rolling back Roe v. Wade, stating that former President Trump, if he is elected along with J.D. Vance, women are going to lose rights. I'm asking you folks, do you believe that's true? Where's that coming from? A lot of women are saying, you're hearing the phrase at Kamala Harris gatherings, we're not going back. What rights are women under the threat of losing if Trump gets elected? Aaron Perez, thank you for the hat and mustache. Appreciate that, Aaron. And now in the comments, I see someone stated scare tactics. I can't pronounce the name due to the font, but that is what we're asking. Is the claim that Trump and Vance are going to take women's rights away, is that scare tactic? Is that liberal propaganda, fear mongering, or is there a real issue outside of Roe v. Wade? Are women really going to lose rights if Trump gets reelected? Looking in the comments, they want Kamala to tell them when to have a baby. Huh? Richard? They want Kamala Harris to tell them the right to make decisions about their own body and healthcare sustaining life. Well, in regards to reproductive issues, yes, but women are losing. What other rights other than Roe v. Wade are women going to lose, or you fear women are going to lose if Trump is reelected? He loves women. Why would he take away rights? Says the Cooper Goat. Trump loves women, so why the hell would he do that? Interesting point. Murder isn't a right. That's also an interesting point coming from, who said that? Adam Oxidine stated that, women are saying they're losing rights in regards to reproductive care, right to have an abortion. He's stating, well, listen, you don't have a right to murder. That's what he's saying. He doesn't respect women, says Street News. Now, by the way, I'm going back to the box. Tap the screen. 65, can we do that? 65,000? A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Very slow in terms of participation. This is uncensored programming, folks. Help your boy out. Get the likes up. Let's go with about 65,000. I think we can make that happen. It's a lot of fun. Maybe tonight's show just simply sucks that I picked the wrong topic because the participation is so damn low on tapping the screen. Does the topic suck that much? By the way, for those super chats on YouTube, I already told you guys when you get those yellow super chats, I'll let you go ahead and state a question, and we'll do a whole video on that just to get real attention to it for those yellow super chats. Looking in the comments though, wow, thank you, Shrimp TV. There's two lives. One decide that the other has to die, and that is murder, says Holy Villain. In other words, when a woman has conceived, there are two living beings at play, and he's stating that one decides whether the other will live, and that indeed is murder. I could really go into detail on that. Really go into detail. I'll just give you, before I go back to the box, I'll just say this. Two lives, and one decided, okay, so let's take away the woman's ability to, as you say, murder. Let's say you got a woman that's 2 months pregnant. She's 2 months pregnant. What is that? 8 months, 8 weeks rather, 8 weeks, 9 weeks or somewhere along that line. Now, we don't want her to have the right to murder, as you're stating. And she comes to the hospital and says, I don't want to murder this kid at all. But since you're saying there are two lives, I don't want to murder the kid, but at the same time, I don't want to be a mom. Take it out of me. You already said there's plenty of abortion, or better yet, adoption. I got that wrong. You already said there's plenty of people willing to adopt. You said there's no need to murder a child. I'm 2 months along. I want you to take it out now. That way I'm not accused of murdering it. It's two lives. Remember, it's alive. It's alive. Take it out now. They couldn't do that. You know why they can't do? Because they need the mom. It's not alive. It's a whole. It's actually to some degree a parasite with the mom being the host. You can't take it out at 2 months. So the idea that it's a living being is actually not true. Otherwise, the mom should have the right to go into the facility and say, I'm not trying to kill my kid. I want you to just take it out. Put me under, sedate me, take it out. That way you can have the life you're talking about, and then I'm out of it. If you could do that, then you'd have a point. But the fact is, you can't do that. And I see in the comments, technically it is a parasite. Yeah, I know the wording sounds terrible, calling it a parasite. But a fetus, certainly an embryo is living off the host. That's what a parasite is. It is living off the host. If the host dies, so does the embryo. That's a parasite. The wording sucks. I get it. But it technically fits the definition of a parasite. So, look at in the comments. Tim, you are making too much sense now. Well, it depends on who you ask, Black Baby Boy. I like the name, like the movie. Going back to the box. Andy, good evening. Welcome to the program, Andy. Now, we don't get a lot of women, so it's always good to get a female on the program. Andy's a friend of the show. I want to ask you, Andy, do you fear women losing rights if Trump is elected? And if so, what?
Yes.
What rights?
Well, we're already losing rights thanks to his 3 Supreme Court justices. There was the woman in Georgia who just passed away from something that was preventable. And they know that.
I heard a little bit of this.
And didn't help her. You know why doctors wait too long? Because they're on the phone with hospital legal. I don't want my doctor to have to call the legal department and wait on their answer while I'm laying on the table. Wow. What the hell? And, Mark Robinson don't want women to vote. You see what came out about him today?
Remember, say that again? don't want women to
Mark
vote.
Robinson, the guy that didn't want women to vote, did you see what came out about him today?
No, I didn't. Oh, the porn guy? The porno stuff?
On some old board that he wrote on, he wrote that I'm a black Yahtzee.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did see that. I did hear about that.
Then he was on Adult Friend Finder, because, they always are. Just like they found the Duggar boy on Ashley Madison, because they always are. Let's just be honest. Same way they broke Grindr. These are the people that want to control other people's lives while hiding their own proclivities.
Wow.
They said, what was it? Robinson was watching transgender pornography, like, let's be real.
So what you're saying is you believe Republican politicians are trying to ban what they secretly are enjoying.
Yep. Or want to control it. If they can't ban it, they want to control it or own it. Tell me that don't match American history.
Yeah, there's some similarities there. So women losing rights, though. Now, obviously, a woman's ability to terminate her pregnancy would be. But what other rights you think women would lose?
Well, we're gonna go back to the 1950s. When y'all were talking about those 1950s housewives, women could actually lobotomize women if they wanted to and stick them in a mental institute. That's where we think we're going because we've seen the past.
Based on what? What would make you think the Republicans want to go back to the time where they could lobotomize women?
They said they wanted to go back to the 13th, before the 13th Amendment, so that pretty much sounds like, no, sweetie, I don't sound crazy, I sound informed. If you want to get rid of everything before, the 13th, that means slavery. That means women go back to being property, too. Republicans just want to control everything. They just voted down IVF. They won't codify birth control. Tell me that's not about control.
Well, let me give you a very common answer. This is coming from Kai Anderson. It says, Trump put it to the states. Your problem is not with Trump, it's with the state. How do you respond to folks who say, even if you had an issue with reproductive rights or Roe v. Wade, it's not Trump, it's the states?
We don't have ballot initiatives in Alabama. What are they talking about? Ballot initiatives don't exist in certain places. Not all states can petition. It's in their constitution.
Wait, explain that. Elaborate on that.
Like Alabama, Georgia, and some of the other states don't have a provision in their constitution to lobby the state to put a provision on the ballot.
Okay, so they can roll back Roe v. Wade or roll back abortion rights, and there's no way the citizens of that state can say we want to vote on it.
Right, and we haven't got to vote on it.
Wow. But do you blame that on Trump?
Nobody in Alabama asked us if we wanted this.
But do you?
See, Alabama's a little bit smarter than the country, I guess, just oddly enough, because when that crazy judge said that an egg was a person across town frozen in an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
When he said that, they rushed to try to codify IVF. Fix it, because women were like, we're done, we're out of here.
But in regards to what my viewer Kai Anderson said, do you blame Trump for what your state is doing? Is that Trump's fault? That's your state doing that.
You don't give civil liberties to the state. And he knew what he was doing when he put those up there. He said, I overturned Roe. He bragged he ran on the fact that if the evangelicals voted for him, he would put up 3 Supreme Court justices who were ultra conservative. He made a bargain, and he bought and sold women to be president.
Oh, wow. Now, real quick, you mentioned 2 women passing away. I've heard a little bit. Could you elaborate on that? Because I heard a little bit about it on the news today, but I was working. I didn't get to hear the whole story.
Some tissue, and she couldn't get it past it, and until they could find out, they couldn't take it out of her. So she laid there, and then the other case, she doesn't have a name. She had preeclampsia and pre-gestational diabetes, and nobody told her there was any options.
Oh, they didn't tell her there's an option to take the child out, you mean?
Yeah, they just let her pass.
Damn.
That story's in the Atlantic. You can find that story in the Atlantic. It's a year old, but yeah.
Damn.
This is what is going on in the South, but the news don't cover this. They don't tell you what's going on here because it's not, And what is Trump thinking? Going to somewhere that they told a lie about that the police are having problems with anyway? Like, is he totally disconnected from reality?
So why do you if you just had to guess, why do you personally believe he's going to Springfield, Ohio? And Vivek Ramaswamy by the way.
I have no idea because I think that's just gonna ignite a tender fire. I think he's making the biggest mistake he could ever make in his political career. I think he thinks he can go down there and smooth it over, but I don't think that's how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, when you say the biggest mistake in his political career, okay, if bad things happen in Springfield, how would that affect Trump? I mean, these are Haitian immigrants; they can't vote. So,
Well, actually, they are legal. They have papers. They're not.
yeah, but they're not at the stage of voting yet.
No, but they're there to do a job and help that town out. And here they are demonizing them. Just like that crap in Aurora, Colorado, where there were 2 buildings. They got 8 guys. The guy says that it was more the slumlord's fault than anybody else's because he didn't do anything about crime and he wouldn't turn them in and wouldn't, they actually find businesses for that. Did you know that?
No,
allowing crime to, like we got a gas station downtown that they put the kibosh on because they let crime keep going on and they wouldn't report it.
No, I didn't hear
so
that.
The same thing, and Trump let the Venezuelans stay. So the fact that that's even a story that the right's propagating is also because the right's voters don't even know that it was Trump who let them stay here.
Well, let me interrupt and say this.
This is amazing to me.
Yeah, let me interrupt and say this because you're talking about things that Trump supporters or maybe they don't know. One of the things I think that is being perpetuated that's completely false is that those Haitian immigrants are here illegally. I'm getting it right now on YouTube. They are legal migrants. The mayor of the town and the governor of that state, both Republican, have stated it on television. They are here legally. Now, I don't know if it's due to rule changes by the Biden administration or whatever the hell it may be, but they are legal migrants. They didn't break any laws to get where they're at. They are here legally. So I don't know why the right keeps saying that they're here illegally. They are here legally. So that needs to be cleared up. And that's why I'm wondering what is Trump going to do? Because Trump is promising to deport them. Now, you said Venezuela, it was a slip of the tongue. But if they're here legally, how is he going to deport them unless he plans on changing the rules or something?
And Tim, please let them know that I do know about abortion quite a lot, as a matter of fact.
I don't know. I don't know enough about you to answer that question.
Have I ever sent you anything and maybe wrong? Let's just go there.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard you say it, but I don't know enough about your personal life. Say that the answer.
No, I'm just talking about the topic in general.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Because your audience seems to think that I don't know anything, but I am very well versed in this topic due to the fact that I would like women to stay alive. I mean, I don't think that's a big ask to you.
No, but I think the question I originally asked you then, I mean, because I'm not hearing a lot. Where is Trump threatening to take away? Because people are saying the Roe v. Wade thing has already been rolled back. That's in the past. No, it's happened.
So hold on. Do you understand how many laws were predicated off of Roe?
Give me some.
And Dobbs.
Give me some.
Okay, so Roe and Dobbs, that's the privacy. So right now, as Idaho's arguing over whether they have to save a woman, that's going to get rid of our EMTALA. Which means they have to save you if you come to the hospital. Because the Supreme Court was actually arguing over how many organs a woman had to lose.
Damn.
Before she would be considered to be in mortal danger. So literally, they're talking about, EMTALA is not going to apply to us. So that's one, and I think that's a pretty big one, don't you?
Yeah, that's fucking huge.
Comments, please go read the new Alabama 2022 Constitution and quit chirping at me now.
Give me enough. That's terrible. They're talking about how many organs a woman can lose before she's invalid. That's horrible.
So we lost our right to privacy because that's what Roe was. Thank God for the American Family Care Act that says they can't look at our insurance and pop us for a what do you call it? When you have the same illness, I can't think of it. Pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize how much that protects them. The American Family Care protects them from pre-existing conditions, making their insurance so sky high that they won't be able to afford it.
So what you're saying is by rolling back Roe v. Wade, it's triggered all of these other, basically, spawned all these other rights and things like that that can negatively affect women too.
There was a constitutional scholar that said it'll be 10 years before we understand the implications of rolling back Roe for women because there's so many laws and they will all just fall one right after the other.
Wow. So is
So he didn't just do us a little disservice. He did us a big, damaging disservice. And we're not forgetting. We'll see them at the ballot box.
I don't know, Andy. I got a lot of female MAGA. I tell you this all the time. I got a lot of women that are voting Republican.
Yeah, but they're drawn to your site. That's a what do you call it? A bias set because they're drawn here. That they're not the majority of women out there. Do you know how many Republican women I know will not be voting for Donald Trump?
Let me try this just for shits and giggles. If you are a woman supporting Trump or voting Republican, type me in the comments. I just want to see right now me in the comments. Women, female MAGA, female Republicans. I just was curious to see that. 'Cause there you go. You see what I'm. Wow, there's a lot of me's out there, Andy. Those are women.
4, 5. I got you, but they are not the majority. And besides that, Republicans aren't the majority of the country. They're not even half. Realistically, that's why the popular vote goes so hard for Democrats every time. Because realistically, if we went off the popular votes, Republicans would never win another election. And they know it. That is why they are so hard right now fighting. Because they know that Donald Trump may have destroyed their party forever.
Yeah, I don't think it has to. Now you're talking about they're not majority of the country. I think the problem is, though, there's a higher percentage of Republicans that show up to the polls than Democrats. Certainly among minority circles, a lot of folks that might vote Democrat don't even show up to vote.
Then explain why District 10 in Alabama, that's been red for historically since 1952, turned blue.
Because they pissed off? Because they pissed off? They pissed off at the Republicans?
Those were Republican women. If they had voted Republican all those years in a row and all of a sudden it turned blue, those are Republican women. So you can't tell me that this little cross section speaks for all Republican women because districts are turning blue everywhere. And not only that, like District 2 in Birmingham is polling that the blue party's winning. That'll be 2 districts for Alabama. That's unheard of. When you got 2 districts in Alabama trending blue, like in the Republican stronghold, the heart of Dixie, that bodes well for the Democrats and bodes poorly for the Republicans. And on top of that, after what Mark Johnson came out and said, I'm not sure that they're not going to turn North Carolina blue.
It is close. It is getting close.
Because of the shit he said, and he's endorsed by Donald Trump.
Wow. All right, Andy. All right, I got it.
Thank you, Tim. I had a good time. You didn't put your sign back up, honey.
I get it. I get it. It's around here somewhere. I get it around here somewhere.
Fix it.
All right. Bye. Talk to you later. That is indeed the one and only Andy. Certainly a pleasure. I don't get a lot of female MAGA or female Democrats. Most of my audience tend to, at least the ones that come in, tend to be male. Well, at the same time, I certainly appreciate women coming in because they have a different perspective, certainly in this political environment. So they're always welcome as well. Looking in the comments, a woman who has a uterus, vagina, fallopian tubes, ovaries. Meg, and what are you saying? The Democrats don't know what a woman is? Is that where we're going? Guess what, Andy? Turn up your oxygen or hit your inhaler. Guess what? What was wrong with my last caller? You're saying turn up your oxygen or hit your inhaler. I don't know where that's going. Neither side can change the court's ruling. That point is mute. True. That's why they're going to codify it in the law. If Kamala Harris can win and have enough votes, then they would just make it a law. Remember, the Supreme Court's job is to interpret and judge on the law. They're not there to make laws. So once the law is passed, and it basically says that a woman has these certain rights, because it would become a right at that point. Something that Ruth Bader Ginsburg talked about all the time is you guys should codify this. If they codify it, then the Supreme Court has no choice. It takes it out of their hands. Looking at the comments, hey, Tim, okay, what does that say? Facts. If they changed it, it can be reversed again. Yeah, that's true. But if it's actually codified into law, then that's different. That would be different. Teamsters declined to endorse Trump and Harris. They will not support any candidate. And I don't get that one. Trump is taking that as a win for obvious reasons, because the unions tend to vote Democrat. So just breaking their tradition alone, Trump is taking that as a victory. Now you're not getting the endorsement, so I don't know if it's a true victory. But for me personally, someone who has indeed worked for the Teamsters in Chicago as an unloader with UPS, United Parcel Service, and I was a IBEW worker for AT&T as a telecom engineer. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So I've been part of two unions in my life, and I don't see how if your sole voting purpose is pro-union, to defend the union, it makes no sense at all to sit this one out or vote Republican. Now I get that Trump gets the win from a lot of Americans on the economy, or no global conflicts, or the price at the pump. Those are other issues. But if you are voting solely on the survival of unions in America, it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, not to vote Democrat, because the Republicans are anti-union. The Republicans tend to support right-to-work states. So I don't understand why, other than maybe there's another issue that the head of the Teamsters is going with, or I don't want to say he got bought out or something, but that makes no sense. The Republican Party would likely neutralize or greatly weaken the union. That's just been the history of the Republican Party. I mean, you can go all the way back to Ronald Reagan firing the air traffic control folks. I mean, the Republican Party's never been pro-union, so I don't get that. The only union I would probably be more likely to maybe consider voting Republican is if I was in the police union or the fire department, because they do favor those entities. The Republican Party has never attacked the police unions, even though they do all of the same shit. They criticize corporate, labor unions for it. They do the same thing, make it hard to fire bad cops and, lazy cops. I mean, they do all of the same things you would criticize the teachers union for, or labor unions. The police union is doing the same thing. They're circling the wagon around bad employees, same shit. But the Republican Party has never criticized the police union. So I could see it there, but outside of that, it makes no sense why they didn't endorse Kamala Harris. Before I go back to the box, I'll ask you to tap the screen, get the likes up to about 85,000. And I will say this. One of the biggest criticisms of Kamala Harris is she's often blamed for the perceived failures of the Biden administration. In other words, whatever Biden did wrong for the country, well, Kamala Harris was riding along with him, and she should get criticized for it as well. Well, that Teamsters union guy who decided to sit this one out stated, I think I was watching it on CNN or Fox or something. It was on Fox. In fact, I'm sure it was on Neil Cavuto this afternoon. He stated that he didn't necessarily feel confident with Kamala Harris, but he referred to Biden as the best president for unions in his lifetime. So when folks say that, well, Kamala Harris is riding with Biden, so she should get blamed for everything, that Teamsters guy is a clear example of somebody who separated it. He believes Biden was great for unions, but he won't even endorse Kamala Harris. So maybe Kamala Harris should not get all of the credit or blame for the Biden administration. There's a guy right there who did it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like I said, just Democrat versus Republican. That should be all you need to know if you're voting on the survival of your union. Going back to the bots and looking in the comments, but his endorsement is only one vote. That is true too. That is true too. Going to the box. I don't know what I just hit there. And thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Continuing on, we're trying to bring up Double Luck. Good afternoon, Double Luck. Welcome to the program. Double Luck, are you there? And hold on a second, before you do, Moran, thank you for the super chat. Says thank you for running these discussions. We do it from a free speech basis. If you guys enjoy that, follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube, if you will. Good evening, Double Up.
Evening, team.
Hey, so what do you think? You've been tuned in. What am I getting wrong here?
I think Trump going to Springfield is a classic example of somebody starting a fire, going to the place to try to put out the fire.
Well, but the Republicans are going to... You're saying him going there starting a fire. The Republicans are going to push back with that old Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start. They're going to say it was already happening.
Yeah, okay. You can say that if you want to, but nobody, like what was already said before, no one even knew anything about Springfield, Ohio until the made up story or whatever. And he likes the character to come back and say, hey, you know what, we didn't vet this, just like they don't vet anything. He has no character to say, hey, we're wrong on this and pull it back. So it's easier just to go there, say that it's just like going down to the border or wherever, do some publicity stunt out of it, and then say, oh, it's gone now because of me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've said this before. They need to have far more evidence. If you got 20,000 Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, and there's a claim they're eating cats and dogs, there should be evidence everywhere, not a few sparse pictures and videos here. I tend to probably be on the same side with you. I think that it probably was made up, or at the very worst, there's some very sparse, isolated incidents of it happening, but I don't think there's even 10 people that have done this in that town.
I'll say this, there's a park that is less than 2 blocks from my house that has a pond, and I saw a guy over there fishing the other day.
Now, where are you at?
I'm in Oklahoma. Because you're talking about those geese. People going around getting geese. I was like, well, hey, there's geese at this park. But I actually saw a white male over there fishing in a public pond in the middle of suburbia.
Oh. So, but he wasn't trying to take the geese out and eat them, was he?
No, he's just doing fish. But it's the same thing. I mean, hey, you're out here getting wild animals from a residential neighborhood. I mean,
well, yeah, but people favor certain types of animals. Like, for instance, you can take a wild fish out of a pond and eat it. They don't want you taking a stray cat home and doing the same thing to it. They favor certain animals over others.
Yeah, I live in a pretty affluent neighborhood, though, and I'm thinking it's just something that looks odd in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Is there any rules against it, though?
Who knows? I'm not one of these HOA policemen.
Right,
I don't know. There's probably somebody that would say something if it was, but I just think it's comical in the sense that, like what you say, you got people that see something, and it's kind of like what you're talking about in terms of 2,000 mules and everything else, making the leap always to the negative to make something.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, it certainly is a leap in the direction of negativity. Because I even had a caller came on a few callers back and stated that one of the women that was originally saying that they were eating pets retracted her statement because she found her cat in the forest. And my first response is, your cat was missing, and your first thought is somebody ate the motherfucker? Like, really? Right. if most Americans, if their pet came up missing, it ran away would be the first thought. You don't think somebody ate the damn thing? So I don't know where that even came from.
Yeah, me either. Like I say, it's just trying to demonize, a group of people, whatever. I think to me, the whole thing with Trump, what he continues to do is it's like the people that support him, they act as if though they can't connect the dots. Unless someone comes out and says exactly A, B, and C, then he's not guilty of anything. So it's like there's never any nuance. There's never any having to connect anything. Just like we say, why would women be worried about losing rights? They've already lost rights. And then in another.
Wait! I can't let you just get away with saying it. Give me something that was a right before Trump that women no longer have a right to do.
Well, what you said before, you said but you can't use Roe. That's the biggest thing.
But Roe was not a right. It was a privilege. It was. Huh?
That's right. Well, you can say it was just like driving and anything else. Someone came down today and said, "Hey, well, the Constitution doesn't say you can drive, so guess what? We're not gonna allow you to do that anymore."
Yeah, because people lose their wait a minute, double luck. People lose their driver privileges every day. It's not a right. It's a privilege, and the judge will tell you that.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it was perceived, even if you want to say it wasn't a right, it was perceived to be a right for 50-something years, and now you have been operating and living under that, and then now it's taken away. And I truly believe, had they not codified same-sex marriage and interracial marriage, they would have done the same thing.
Wow.
And, but the hypocrisy of it all is it's dressed up under Christianity. And on one hand, we're all supposed to be brothers and sisters in God's eyes. But then if you don't support at least the interracial piece, then you really don't believe that.
Yeah. And I've said before that I grew up Christian and was in the church every Sunday and went to Bible school, used to direct the choir and all of that. And yeah, my analysis and my people say do your own homework, your own research. It strayed me away from Christianity because the more research and homework I do, it's like, wow, this is really what I've been. Yeah. So
yeah, same here. Same here. I grew up under it. It's like, you know, you look at things now, it's just like you really, one, you didn't have the ability to research things as fast and easy now, and there is a lot of contradictions in the book that where it, you know, sins of the father, it goes down to the people below it, and then oh no, everyone's judged under their own, you know, thing. So that, and then is it really that big of a deal? You come out and say you cannot wear mixed fabrics, but you don't condemn owning another human being. And if you are gonna own another human being, then you can treat this one this way, but you can't treat the other ones as bad.
Yeah,
you know.
I'd say that the Ten Commandments, I'm okay with most of that, and that's kind of it. I said once they start telling those stories in the Bible, and that's when things get really awry, when you can beat slaves and all that. Give me the Ten Commandments and leave me at that. The Bible is now to the point where I'm kind of scared of it.
I don't think the Ten Commandments are it either. I mean, because some of them are, you know, just like the thing here in Oklahoma where they're, you know, trying to force it on the kids, and
yeah, they passed a law. They passed a law in your state now. The children have to read the Bible in school, don't they?
Yeah. So and, you know, people will say, well, you know, and they dress it up under this code of conduct and all. Like, well, you know, it has these great things in it. There's no reason a kid needs to understand. They don't even know. First of all, there's no reason a kid needs to be taught don't covet your neighbor's wife.
Yeah.
They don't need to know that. They don't need to know that.
That is
nor
true.
the God before me. But yet we're supposed to have come here under the cloak of religious persecution. And then now you're persecuting people. But I will say this. Lumberjack's the one that has been coming up with that whole, you know, oh, the founding fathers were a Fallon. That's not a flex. They were also racists. So the founding fathers were racist too. So, I mean, they want everything they say is just some other line to draw that this guy crosses. And they're trying to mentally justify why I support this person. And Martin Luther King said it best. He goes, hey, we want to get to a point where we can be judged by the content of our character. People don't like it though now when it's the other way. We're judging this person, this rich white billionaire supposedly, by the content of his character. And you say all the time, hey, you know, people can choose to elect or cast their vote for whatever reason. That's always going to be it for me. You know, like I say, I think it's probably because of my military background and things you were taught on how to act at home growing up, plus even more so in that life. And he embodies zero core value of any branch of the armed forces, none of them. And it's just the whole calling for the termination of the Constitution. And people will say, well, he didn't call for it. He just said that they're, you know, the massive fraud, which didn't exist, allows for the termination of all these rules, regulations, and things, even those found in the Constitution. And they'll say, well, he didn't call for the termination of it. Okay, well, what are the rules in the Constitution that says it can terminate itself? Because the only rule that I know about that exists in the Constitution where is anything is it can be changed or altered.
Yeah.
It can be amended. It cannot be terminated.
Yeah, I will say I do agree Trump pushed the envelope in a few ways, and I do believe that once Trump serves his term or loses, whatever the case may be, once he's out of the picture, I've said before in the program, there will be several laws that will be bipartisan that basically close loopholes that Trump was trying to exploit. But I got to move it on, Double. Go ahead.
That is the best thing he did for our country, though. It exposed what we thought democracy was in America, just like and I use the word democracy because we never had a problem of us being a democracy until Trump came along.
Yep.
We always knew we were a democracy, but the thing is that, you know, he exposed how weak our systems are, and there's no guardrails in when people don't behave correctly.
Yeah, it was kind of done on the honor system, and I think Trump done a few things that they never expected a president to do, and I believe they will close that up once he is no longer in the picture. But Double Luck, appreciate you coming in. Come on back anytime.
Have a good one.
You too. Now in the comments, I want to address one thing. Somebody said, handsome liberal, you make the wrong choice. Only a fool believes there is no God. I didn't say there was no God. I said my research and analysis on Christianity has wavered my direction, you know, my faith toward that direction. I was brought up Christian. I didn't say there's no God. But I will say this, just in regards to religion in general, And I see somebody in the comments said, I said, prove it. There is a God, says JDM. I said it. Prove it. There is a God. Well, I will say this. Let's say you write a computer program and the computer program says, turn on the coffee maker at this time, turn off the lights at this time, turn the litter box over at this time, water the plants. You could write a program to do all of that. And when you hit return, it will do all of that, and every single day it will continue doing it. Very similar to, there's a possibility. Now, I know I'm going to sound weird saying this, but there's a possibility. Let's say, for instance, there was a deity, a God, whatever you want to call it. Same thing, set forth in motion. Every season, I want the trees to grow or the leaves to grow. In the fall, I want them to fall off. I want mankind to give birth and create, and then at a certain period of time, I want that mankind to start dying off, and a new generation kicks in. The point I'm making is, this could be set in motion and not be interfered with by a ongoing being. A lot of folks, when you get sick, you pray to God, or you pray for this or pray for that. It could be just like I stated, like something that was set forth like a computer program, where the creator no longer has to interfere with it. They don't have to do anything. It's been set forth, which is why, because I used to always ask, why would a God let a kid walk out in the street and get ran over by a car? Why wouldn't he stop that? Maybe it's a possibility it was set forth, and there is, which would probably mean praying is not going to alter anything. No, if it's time for your relative to pass away, for instance, you can pray all you want. They're going to die. That's it. It's in the program that when this person gets to this point, they perish and the new generation kicks in. You can pray all you want. So, and I believe it's more possible, kind of like I've taken on the belief, kind of like the Lion King, where they talk about the circle of life. Something created that. That could be God. Something created that. But it may be an issue where it is no longer interfering with it. Just set it in motion and let it be. I think I can see that, because I do believe that most things on earth are cyclical. You pass away and something feeds off of you. It gets bigger and humans eventually feed off of it. And when the human dies, the whole thing starts over again. Could be that. Could be that. As opposed to having a God where they're actively, and I'll tell you right off the bat, just like I used the example about why would God let a kid walk out into the street and not do anything if there's a God actively interfering in our life. How many times have you heard the statement after a kid has been taken, thoughts and prayers? You're in our thoughts and prayers. How many times have you heard that when children have perished? If there was something that was interfering with our ongoing existence, it seems like eventually the prayers would get through. Obviously, children losing their lives violently, tragically, thoughts and prayers is not going to stop it. I think we got plenty of evidence now, at least in America, that praying and thinking about children dying in schools is not going to do a damn bit of help to save them. I think we should know that by now. So what I'm saying is, if there is, I believe it's something that put us in motion and no longer interferes with it. Otherwise, I need to know why those thoughts and prayers are being constantly ignored. You're going to tell me you're up there watching this? So I think at some point it was set forth as you're saying there, Timothy Lee says free will. Well, then, yeah, you're gonna set something forth, let it go, and give the people free will to do whatever they want. So yeah, at that point, praying, thoughts and prayers is irrelevant. I don't care if somebody's walking in your house and letting you know they're in the process of taking your life. They got free will. He's not going to do anything. I don't know why you're cowering and praying. They got free will. He's going to let them do it. I don't care if the person that they're threatening is 2 months old. He's going to let them do it. They got free will. So I would see it more like something was set forth and we don't have anything, and there's nobody interfering with what we're doing here. They're just letting you do whatever the hell you want. It's been set forth And that is it. All right, look it in the comments. I didn't want to go down that path. That got a little bit deep, but tap the screen. See if we can get up to 100,000. We're getting close. Thank you on TikTok. Smash that like button on YouTube. The thoughts and prayers are for the comfort of the friends and family of the deceased. I don't even think it helps them out. You said right in 22 said the thoughts and prayers are for the comfort of the friends and family of the deceased. If you are a politician that people have been lobbying to do something about a certain firearm or something that is leaving your family member exposed to potentially a violent death, and you keep ignoring it or vetoing bills, and something happens to that person's family member, hearing you say thoughts and prayers is not going to provide them with any solace at all. In fact, they probably think you're the fucking devil. So I don't think it even does anything for them folks. I don't think anybody, because at the end of the day, let's just be honest. Since we started having all these mass casualty events in this country, let's go back to say Columbine. Let's go back to Columbine in '99. So we're talking, what, 25 years? We've done far more over the last 25 years to protect gun rights than to protect those children from being told thoughts and prayers are being issued in your death. So it's clear nobody is really working on this. So I don't think the thoughts and prayers, certainly coming from politicians, are even providing people with solace. They know you're not doing anything to help their kids out. We've made it easier. So somebody goes in school and does something to a bunch of children. Our response has been to make it easier for the next guy to do it. It's become easier to get firearms. We've actually removed red flag laws and things like that. It's become easier. So that when the next guy want to do what the guy did to take out your kid, it'll be even easier for him to do it. So, yeah, I don't think the thoughts and prayers are going to help. And I see in the comments, here's a perfect example. Kai Anderson says, get rid of the gun-free zones. So when somebody is sitting there in court and they see the next guy next to them get a ruling from the judge that they don't like, and the guy pulls out a firearm and shoots the judge, and we issue thoughts and prayers to the family of the judge, how are they supposed to feel knowing damn well that if we had kept that gun-free zone in place, the judge could not have been shot? Really? Get rid of gun-free zones. Yeah, it works in some cases. Yeah, actually, I see in the comments somebody says, do gun-free zones work? I've never heard of a judge being shot while in court, because court is a gun-free zone. I mean, do you believe that you should be able to bring a gun in court? Let's make it so it's not a gun-free zone. No, I don't. All right, let me go back to the comments. I made 10K this month talking shit to MAGA. I wish, Darwin Gemini. Going back to the box. I don't know what the freedom. I like it. Freedom for all. Good afternoon, or better yet, good evening due to the time. Ever heard of friendly fire people? Yeah, we've heard of friendly fire, but yeah, there's some zones I don't believe. Some of you folks favor letting people bring a gun into the courtroom. You really want to do that? I don't favor that. I mean, really? Where you know people are walking in pissed off, walking out angry, might lose their free. You really want to allow people to walk into a courtroom with a gun on them? Wow. Okay. Tim, Meg Ann, I don't see that Marcus G. We're on YouTube. The call-ins are coming from YouTube. Tell her to come over. We'll gladly bring up Meg Ann. You're ignoring the meaning to support your argument. I know what a gun-free zone is. It's a zone where you can't have guns. Courtrooms are gun-free zones. What am I missing out on? Bros T, as I say, it's Bros Steves. Thank you for that beautiful pendant. Thank you. Tim, a judge in Kentucky, was shot today in his chambers. Damn. And well, the chambers is different than the courtroom, though. How did he get back in the chambers, though? The chambers is off in the back, a room. I don't even know how a citizen got back there, but in the courtroom, you cannot bring a fire. I mean, I always say by a cop, but then that's different. That's different. If a cop did it, that's something different. But I'm asking, do you folks believe that citizens should be able to bring guns to court? I mean, you guys believe that? Should court not be a gun-free zone? Going back to the box, you can bring anything you want and do into a judge's chamber if he lets you in the door. Yeah. Well, he said that it was a police officer that done it too. That's something totally different. Somebody said Moses said he was shot by the sheriff. Well, damn, that's bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are some places I believe that cops cannot even carry guns, like in prison. They don't let them carry because the inmates may take them from them. All right, let me try it again. I'm having trouble bringing up folks. We'll give it a minute here. Tap the screen. We're pretty close to 100,000. I think we can make that happen if you let the thumbs not be lazy. On YouTube, so the guns are the problem, not the individual. Maybe we should work on the mental state of individuals. There is too much separation and hate, not enough love and well, here's the issue I have. Why the box is resetting, because I'm having problems bringing up guests. You said so the guns are the problem, not the individual. This argument could be made on a whole bunch of subjects. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. People using guns irresponsible do it. So why should you ban the gun? Because the gun ain't going to kill the person. It takes somebody irresponsibly using the gun to do it. Well, why not have the same argument? A bag of smack, crack, or heroin won't kill anybody. People using smack, crack, and heroin irresponsibly kills people. So why not legalize those things? I mean, a bag of heroin would never jump off the table and inject itself into your veins. You got to use it irresponsible to have a problem. So, I mean, that same argument could apply to drugs. Drugs don't kill people. People using drugs irresponsibly kills people. There are plenty of coke and crack addicts and heroin addicts that do that stuff and not have issues for years other than a broke bank account. Plenty of folks who do it. So, I mean, based on your argument, should you legalize that as well? That's like saying forks make people fat. I would just say this. Guns don't kill people. People with guns. But at the end of the day, if somebody has the desire to do wrong, guns magnify their ability to do so. I mean, if we're going to say that, guns don't hurt anybody, so you don't ban guns because it's the irresponsible person and you can't legislate morality or responsibility, then why make any substance illegal? I mean, I don't care if it's grenades, I don't care if it's bioweapons, I don't care if it's atomic weapons. None of that stuff's going to hurt anybody unless you use it irresponsible. Why stop at firearms? Why draw the law? I mean, none of that stuff's going to do that. So you're making it illegal because in a country of 300 plus million people, there's going to be an ample amount of folks that are going to use it irresponsible. That's why drugs and all that stuff. That's why most other countries do not let people own firearms. I'm sure they agree in those countries too that guns do not kill people. People using guns irresponsibly do. But they know if you put millions of people together, there's going to be arguments and conflict, and it will lead to people getting shot. Whereas they might have been forced to fight it out or pick up a bottle or a glass or a knife. Now they got a firearm in their hands. And the damage is going to likely be greater. I mean, people always say all the time, look, if you get rid of guns, they can find another way to kill people. Fine. You don't normally hear about stray stabbings, for instance. A lot of people get killed with knives. A lot of people get angry, pick up a knife, as opposed to picking up a gun. You hear a lot of folks being accidentally shot by stray rounds. If a person is trying to stab you, they're not likely to kill people by accident. They're going to get just you. The sheer amount of extra damage and collateral damage with firearms is much greater. You don't hear about that. Innocent victims being killed during the stabbing. Doesn't happen. So I think that a lot of folks would survive. We'll just leave it at that. Looking in the comments though, most handsome man on the planet speaking. Trader Todd USA. Wow. Diddy with no bail surely scares the crap out of Trump. Justice matters all the time. TikTok. No, Diddy and Trump are two different entities. Trump ain't gonna never be victim to what Diddy is going through. Never. Trump got way more supporters in the justice system as well that Diddy doesn't have. Big, big difference between Trump and Diddy. I think Trump could have done exactly what Diddy did, and he would at least have been granted bail. Big difference. They are not the same. Don't put Trump in the. Now, if that was J.D. Vance or somebody, maybe, but we're talking about Trump. Big difference. Going back to the. That's funny, though. That is funny, though. Jade M. You're freaking, what's it? You freaking ass, and when I answer, you ignore it. Hellfire, I don't get what you're. You realize, Hellfire, I'm one man band. Let me make it clear, folks. I don't try to block, ban, or censor. Hang on a second, Jay. I don't block, ban, or censor anybody. I don't run from comments. I get criticized, called all kinds of Uncle Times and shit, all of that stuff. I welcome your input. But understand, folks, I am literally a one-man band. There's no screener. I'm responding to calls. I got two devices going on. Comments are coming. If you send me a question and I don't get to it, let me offer you my apology right now. I got a lot going on over here, dude. There's like literally almost 500 people on one platform and over 500 on the other one. I'm sorry. If I miss your question, just take that into consideration. Jade, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's up, man? How you been?
I'm doing good. Like I always say, hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So we're talking we're talking about Trump going to Springfield, Ohio. You think it's a good idea?
Well, I know what I hope happens, but
Really? You need to elaborate on that.
well, look, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see that the libertarians booed Trump? And I think it was New Hampshire. He was out on stage.
New Hampshire, yeah, New Hampshire tends to go a little bit blue anyway. But I get your point that they booed him in New Hampshire. But I'm surprised he was there. Does he think New Hampshire is competitive?
Who knows what he thinks, if he thinks.
Shit, he's losing places like North Carolina. He should be down in North Carolina and Georgia. Here, I even hear Iowa's getting close now. New Hampshire, really?
He was in North Carolina. He was trying to get everybody to forget about Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, and we all love him, and you guys need to support him. And
yeah, he should be hanging there. Okay. He should be spending more time in North Carolina than P.D. Pablo. For some of you guys who know what I'm talking about, he should be certainly representing North Carolina because that is getting close out there.
I can't imagine him going to a place where he has just stirred up all kinds of mess like he has, and then expecting a warm welcome. I've seen several different stories about the people in Springfield, Ohio that are going to the Haitian restaurants to showing support for that community. And I think that's amazing. That's exactly what we should be doing, right? Supporting our community, because if we feel like these people are welcome and they're bringing something to our lives, then we need to show that support.
Yeah.
And I think it's the best way to combat Trump's kind of fascism. I really do.
What makes you say he's a fascist, though?
Trump?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things that make me think that he's a fascist. For one, he keeps calling everybody else a fascist, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, he does do that. He does do that.
And he's getting it wrong because he's calling Kamala a communist fascist. And it's like, okay, so tell me you don't know anything about what you're talking about without telling me.
Yeah, that's a good point. I say that oftentimes to a lot of folks that are on the right. Like, one person cannot be a communist, fascist, Marxist, and socialist all in one. Like, pick your insult. You can't call this one person. Same thing they did to Obama. This one person can't be all of these things.
Well, isn't it akin to, though, that, liberals are all snowflakes and weak and pathetic and beta and whatever, but we're also criminal masterminds that are ruining the country.
That does happen. That does happen. You're right.
It's just there's look, I understand there's a lot of things that people can take out of context. There's a lot of AI videos that people have made recently and things that it's kind of hard to find a true source sometimes, but the information is out there and it's easy to spot it when you really want to, but people believe what they want to believe.
Well, let me ask you this now, because you're yet another female. I don't normally get a lot of female callers, but I always enjoyed it. Do you believe under Trump, women stand to lose rights?
Yes, absolutely.
Give me some
And it's
examples.
not just from Trump, it's from everybody following Trump, okay? People, it's kind of like when you get married, the old adage used to be, well, just know that when you get married, you're marrying that person's family too, okay? Everybody behind Trump, everybody running with Trump, everybody that's going to be supporting Trump, all of these people are going to be in key positions to make sure that they get the world they want. And the world that they want will not be in my favor or my little girl's favor.
Let me interrupt you and just respond to a viewer. On YouTube, Andy Joe says, Tim takes 0 YouTube callers. Fuck you, Tim. Wise up. YouTube doesn't allow me to take calls, Andy. I don't run from calls. TikTok allows me to have this vocal interaction. I do read your comments as much as I can, but Andy says, fuck you, Tim. Wise up. So give me some examples of rights you believe women will lose, Jay.
Well, for one thing, there's a lot of places that are Republican run right now where they're trying to get rid of no-fault divorce.
So women can't get out of the relationship?
Yeah, to be able to divorce somebody without having to prove abandonment or prove abuse.
Damn.
Look, it's an institution. If you want to get out of it, just get out of it.
Where does that happen in that? Where they're trying to...
Oklahoma's one place, and I think, and don't quote me, but I think Missouri's another place. These are some of the things that Republicans right now are trying to do, and there's really no reason to believe that it wouldn't go further than that if they had a Republican back in the White House.
Well, if they're trying to take back no-fault divorce, that is... Man, I haven't heard that, but that would... Because, you know... Women have gained the right to, you know, over the years, they don't have to stay in a relationship for the finances or for the kids and things like that. And there are a lot of men that are like, shit, I wish she couldn't. I wish she didn't have the right to leave me and take half of my income. So you're saying they're trying to roll back a woman's ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, because they want trad wives. They want women that stay in the home, that cook and clean, and that they can basically drug to make them happy. Just like the 1950s when they say make America great again. That's what they mean.
So they can, wait, you said so they can drug?
Yeah, don't you know that's what they used to do? There were whole ads made about it back in the 1950s. Is your wife unhappy with the vacuuming, with the child rearing? Get her this product, and it's a drug. And it's basically a barbiturate or something that'll just make her, you know, go through the motions and not really have any feelings. It's kind of like a chemical lobotomy for women who don't want to be housewives.
I have heard several people talk about these lobotomies. Now, I didn't know this. Damn. Put her on drugs? Really?
Yeah, because, you know, they needed us to be subservient. And women aren't as subservient now. I've never been subservient. My husband loves that, by the way. I just want to put that out there for all the conservative men in the audience. My husband loves that I'm a teammate. I'm not his slave, and I don't walk 2 steps behind him. You know, we're a team. We make things together. We make decisions together.
Yeah, and I will back up one of your statements. This comes from an article from the Oklahoman, January 26th of this year. Says a bill that would abolish no-fault divorce is drawing the ire of some attorneys and domestic violence victims advocates. It says Senator Dusty Devers, he's a Republican from Elgin, Oklahoma. He actually filed Senate Bill 1958, Senate Bill 1958 that would no longer allow Oklahomans to file for divorce on the grounds of incompatibility, also known as no-fault divorce. So you are correct. They are trying to get rid of no-fault. Wow, that's crazy.
And here's the thing. This is just one of the things that's been happening, okay, after Trump was president and during, okay, all of these little things. And without TikTok, I wouldn't know about half of it, right? And then I see it on TikTok and I look it up. So the no-fault divorce thing is one thing. There was a thing in Tennessee where they were trying to make it so that even if you had domestic assault charges, you could still buy a gun. There was
the red flag laws.
Yeah, the red flag law. But they're trying to make it so that you can still get one.
Oh yeah, I've talked to many folks on the program here that do not favor the red flag laws. I mean, I flat out ask folks, you know, if you threaten to harm your spouse and there's a restraining order out on you, should you still be able to get a firearm? And I've had people flat out tell me, yes, you should still be able to defend yourself. Why? Just because you got a beef with your wife, why should they be able to take your gun away? I've had people tell me that. So yeah, people are certainly trying to get rid of the red flag laws.
We both know that that little piece of paper that says "stay away from me" doesn't do much, and even if you throw it at them. So if they're coming at you with a weapon, anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things too, though. There's that I think it's Missouri that's trying to get the therapy records of people that are trans, and this is all part of the Roe overturning. So you have.
Why would they want the therapy records of somebody? What are they going to do?
They want the therapy records to find out who's trans and who's LGBT.
And what are they going to do with that? What's the purpose of that?
No idea, but it can't be good. Why in the world would they want that information?
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, you can't incarcerate the person. So now the no fault divorce.
There's been speaking about that though. There's been people talking about that you should be able to. As a matter of fact, I forget which state it was in, but recently they started putting people that were not. They were not incompetent, okay, but they were being declared incompetent because they were LGBT. There were several people that were put into like homes, like not asylums, but like assisted living care.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're trying to mandate conversion therapy in a way, or just throw people away. It's crazy. It's very weird. There's a lot going on.
I've heard people suggest on my program that they do believe members of the LGBT community, particularly trans, it's a mental illness. They don't believe you can be born. A lot of people believe that you can't be born gay. You're mentally ill. So I don't know if that's why they're doing it. But while you were saying that, I was once again able to look it up and verify Missouri Independent. In one of 4 cases between a provider of gender-affirming care and the Missouri Attorney General, a judge has ruled that Missouri's consumer protection law does not authorize Andrew Bailey's sweeping demands for unredacted records. So they were, you really are spot on with this. Wow. They really were trying to do that.
They're trying to do all kinds of things. And here's the thing. You don't have to necessarily look very far to figure out their reasoning. Their rhetoric speaks for itself, whether it's in the bills they try to pass or not.
Wow. Yeah, I see somebody said for minors. It was for kids, though. They were trying to get the records of transgender children. It wasn't for adults. It was for minors, though. I don't know what difference that makes, but it was for minors.
Well, see, here's the thing. I have a transgender kid, and they're not trying to change who they are, okay? They're 14. Every kid has difficulty figuring out who they are when they're 14. Okay, so socially transitioning is a lot different than medically or chemically. We don't do medically or chemically. And they're trying to slowly figure out where they stand, how they feel, where they fit. That's everybody that does that. That's every single person, okay? But you have to go through therapy, years of therapy, and you have to have a psychiatrist sign off on it. You can't have top surgery in America until you're 16 years old. Okay, and that's with several doctors that back you up and say, okay, well, we've done this for years, talked about it for years, nothing has changed, and a psychiatrist backs them up, and then they go to a doctor with it, okay? That's 16, though. You get what I'm saying? That's not 3, that's not 5, that's not 8, okay? Nobody that I know of, and I don't know that it's not happening anywhere, but nobody that I know of is trying to get an actual operation for a 9-year-old. You get what I mean?
Yeah, well, let me, I want you to hear this, because what you're saying, I think this kind of pertains to, it's a 20-second clip, but I want to get your opinion on this.
Transgender thing is incredible. Think of it. Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And many of these childs 15 years later say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me?
Now they're laughing on that, but what's your opinion of that?
My opinion on that is that it's just as tone deaf and delusional as just about anything else he comes up with. It's the same thing as saying that Haitians are eating cats in Springfield. Okay, these teachers can't even afford classroom supplies, but somehow, some way, okay, they're giving these kids these really expensive operations. And where's the kid for these 3 days? Like, you're not going to think something's up when your kid doesn't walk home from school? What?
I don't have an answer for it. It is wild. I got to admit, you're right. I mean, the kid did not get the parents' permission. The school did not get the parents' permission. The child is gone, as you pointed out, for a few days. Like, where? It just sounds like something he just made up. I don't know where
It's
you got this
absolutely
from.
something he just made up. It's on the same level with Moms for Liberty talking about social emotional learning is, somehow brainwashing our children. What, to know what they feel? Yeah. Really? I mean, look, I want to bring this up real quick. I know you got to move on soon because I see how your show works, okay? But I saw an article right after Donald Trump was elected the first time, okay? Mm-hmm. And it was talking about how the world was going to change, how we needed to journal because it was going to start to feel like our brains were in a washing machine. Things were going to turn upside down. It was going to be so chaotic. There was going to be so many things that we were like, wait, is this real life? Haven't you felt that?
I think once Roe v. Wade got rolled back, we realized we were in a different time period because everybody was saying that's been adjudicated. Even because when Trump was running for office, the liberals were already saying, look, if Trump wins, he's going to roll back women's abortion rights. And the liberals were being accused of fear-mongering. The liberals were like, look, if you let this guy get in, they're going to be using anti-abortion laws from the 1800s. And they were like, the liberals are fear-mongering. It's just propaganda. And then it happened. And then all of a sudden, all these states are going back to using laws from the 1800s, like Arizona. So at this point, I'm not confident that I'm not confident saying anything can't happen from the past after seeing that.
True. And that's my point is I can't find that article anywhere, but I remember it because I remember thinking everything's it's so surreal. Everything, it feels like I'm watching a movie. It doesn't feel real. And I've been actually looking at this. There's been recent studies that a lot of younger people are feeling like they are disassociating. Like when they look at things in real life, it doesn't feel real. Yeah. Right? And that tracks with that article that I read.
Yeah, but you got to, just in defense of the right, they're seeing, two dudes walking down the street holding hands or men kissing in public or, blue-haired people. They're saying the same thing. They're also saying this doesn't feel real because they're looking at traditional America.
It's on both sides, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the world is trying to change, and we have people that are trying to stop it, right?
That is true.
Now, my mother's a boomer, okay? My mother used to be a Trumper, right? January 6th changed that completely.
Wow.
And it's one of those things, it's like racism to white people who have never experienced it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start to understand where it is. You see it every place it is, and you can't turn that off. If you can turn that off, you're a soulless person, okay? But until a white person who has never been in close proximity to it, that would never think of being that way or think of themselves in that way. But when you see it, when you really see it, and it's close to you, you can't turn that off and stop seeing it, okay? The same is true with the world changing, with what's going on with women's rights, with everything. Once you start seeing all of these machinations, you don't stop seeing that. Yeah. You're going to notice it. And it's true on both sides. Like, my mother has become far more tolerant. We yell at each other a lot less.
That helps.
It does. But you know what? It's like now she looks back and she's like, oh my God, all these things I missed, all these things that I just tried to explain away, tried to say, oh, well, he didn't say that. And if he did say that, he didn't mean that. And
wow.
If he did mean that, you took it wrong. And if you know what I'm saying?
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context. It's never in the right context, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to say, I love your show. I've been on here before. I'll come back. Hopefully next time you won't be having the problems with the like you were yesterday.
Yeah. But thank you. Well, thank you for coming on. My door is always open to you, Jay. Appreciate it. Thank you. And you enlightened me on a couple articles, so that probably will end up coming up in the future. But thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
And you're welcome. In the comments, Ed G, friend of the program, Ed G says it is true. In California, they can take your children if you don't confirm their identity, and they will give them the operation without the parents' consent. Ed, you got to provide more. Look, I'm going to say you might be 100% correct, Ed, but I don't believe it. I don't believe that. You're telling me that if the parents do not confirm, let's say, for instance, now my father was a Marine, straight out of the Vietnam War. He was a man's man. He was an alpha male. He would have never entertained me coming home gay and definitely not transgender. So you're telling me that if my dad refused to confirm my desires to be a 6'6", 300-pound, ugly ass woman, which is what I would be, but you're telling me if my dad did not accept that, in the state of California, they could take custody of me and give me an operation? I don't believe that. Like I said, it might be true, but I don't believe that. I do not. First of all, like my last caller was rightfully pointing out, those elective surgeries are super expensive. It's not that cheap to do that. Not to mention who does the liability concerns and all of that. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I'm going to say that's my story and I'm sticking to it until I see some solid evidence. I don't believe that if a child wants to be transgender and the parents refuse to accept it, they will take custody of the child and give the child a surgery. As my last guest rightfully pointed out, in states like California, I'm sure you can go to plenty of schools in Oakland, plenty of schools in Sacramento and in Los Angeles. I'm talking about in the hood where they can barely afford to get a damn kid's books and a computer. But yet they're giving transgender operations. Doesn't make sense. And I tell you this. Show me the school's budget for surgeries. I mean, you know, the school district that's public information, right? You should be able to get them to show you how much has the school district spent, because this is taxpayers' money. How much has the school district spent on surgeries for kids? Any kind of surgeries. We need to know how much the school district has spent of the taxpayers' money on medical procedures for children. I don't believe it. And I see your comment, Kai. You're saying look it up. I'd have to look it up. I'd be curious the source. But also, let me just say this before I continue on with the program. And by the way, thank you folks for tapping the screen on TikTok. 110,000. Can we do that? Tap the screen. Get the likes up 110. Certainly on YouTube, 155. 50. F-I-D-D-Y. 155. I will say this. In regards to looking it up. There is a difference between what can be done and what has happened. A lot of the things the right are talking about are based on laws, perceived legislation that allows something to happen. But when asked to produce proof that it is happening, most cases they come up short, such as having a baby, putting the baby to the side, and the parent and the mom deciding whether to terminate it. It sounds like, because you got a lot of videos on social media where women are calling abortion clinics and asking, you know, what procedures they use to perform a late-term abortion, and it's gotcha questions because they want to show that this is something that can happen. But once again, I stated, it's the difference between something that can happen is something that is happening. There's a lot of pro-slavery laws that still exist in America. But that doesn't mean they're enforcing it. Big difference between something that can happen and something that is happening. I heard folks suggest that there were schools in America that had litter boxes because children want to identify as cats. But prove it. Prove it. The proof is what I'm talking about. Prove that this stuff is actually taking place. And that's when stuff fall apart. Same thing with the cats and all of this stuff. The proof is, they're really short on the proof. Going back to the box, and that's been debunked, says Jay. Yep, and thank you, Jay, for your conversation. See, you are misinformed. Shame on you. Tim Walz signed a bill for just that in 2023. Now look that up. But that goes back to what I just said. Can happen versus what is happening. You're telling me about bills and laws that have been signed. Show me somebody who actually did it. Because like I just stated, I can point to bills that make it legal to lynch a slave. I mean, there's a bunch of horrible laws and bills in place. That don't mean that people are actually doing this stuff. Can happen versus what is actually happening. Show evidence that it happened. Don't show me some law that says it can happen. Show me evidence that it is actually taking place. And G, we can't help homeless vets, but money for other countries. Of course, they can give money for surgeries, and at the same time, they don't have money for computers. You make somewhat of a point, but you're saying that, okay, we don't have money to help out homeless vets, but we're sending money to the Ukraine. So it's obvious that money can be misappropriated to certain sources. That I understand, but I'm going to push back with what I just simply said. Can happen versus will happen. Show me, I want to say receipts or whatever the case may be, because the Los Angeles Department of Schools or whatever, you're talking about California, okay? So whatever school district in California is actively paying for children that had transgender surgery, there has to be records of it. Show me some receipts. As they say, come with receipts. Don't come with laws, come with actual activity. Where are the receipts that children have had this done? That's what I want to see. Stop saying show me, don't look up anything. I've been looking up shit while the program is running, E1. Stop saying show me, you don't look up anything. Did you not see when I was talking to the last caller, me pulling up shit? All right, let me go back to the box. I love the criticism. You're not always right. Sometimes you are, and I'll let you know when. That wasn't a case of it. Going back to the box, Charles Vaughn. Wait a minute, I didn't mean to do that. Hang on a second. I didn't went into the invite category. Furback. Good evening, Furback.
What's up, Tim?
I'm in the trenches. Children having surgery on the taxpayers' expense. What say you?
I'm for it, man. I'm for it.
Wait. You are for a child being able to transition into the alternate gender, and you are for the taxpayers paying for that?
Yeah, the way I look at it is we gotta let parents parent, man.
This ain't got nothing to do with the parents. The parents ain't. First of all, I know you trolling like fuck, but let me just say, the parents ain't involved in this. The school is doing it irrespective of how the parent feels.
Is it after school or
Well, if they gonna cut off your Furback, if they gonna cut off your dick, I'm assuming it's after school. It's not gonna happen during the school. You actually are doing what I think should be done. Make light of this bullshit.
It's insane, man. I mean, the way people can just throw their mind and just, how can you even wrap a rational thought around that, man? It's just insane to me.
I don't know. I don't know. But why are there so many people that believe it? I got folks on YouTube right now telling me, you need to research this shit. It's happening. I got proof. Kids are having their genders transition. I got Gen X right now saying if your son is putting on a dress, you ain't parenting. So so he's suggesting that even if your kid did not have any operation at all, if you're allowing your child to put on dresses and things like that, you're slacking in the parenting game. You agree with that?
I mean, I don't, but I guess that's fair. But, if you got your son running around here in MAGA hats and, Trump on his shirt and MAGA shoes and eating MAGA flakes, I would say that's about as good.
Okay, MAGA flakes. Oh, my God.
MAGA O's, whatever the hell he's selling for $25 a box.
Now in the comments, right off the bat, somebody asked, how the hell is that even equivalent? Johnny saying, because you're saying it's bad parenting to have your child running around with all this Trump paraphernalia on. Is that really bad parenting? Maybe, you think Trump is the good guy.
Maybe some people think the dress looks good on their son. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying,
That's a good point.
My point, even though I was tongue in cheek in the beginning, is you gotta let parents parent, man. What's for you, not for me. I got my ass whooped with a belt coming up.
So did I.
I got 4 brothers and a sister, and my brothers never put a belt to any of his kids' ass.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, and and I don't like that. I hate to say this. Some people may not like me for saying this, but I do think that when kids were getting their ass beat, you were putting out a better crop of kids. I think now kids know that there's a limit to what their parents can do if they do wrong, and it is what it is. But when you knew that, because every pain is like the international symbol of you don't fucked up. You can take away somebody's Nintendo or their gaming systems. Some kids, I don't give a damn about that. I'll go in the room and read a book. But getting your ass beat, nobody wants that. That was like the universal symbol of I fucked up. And I think once they took that ability to do that away from the parents, they really put the parents' hands behind their back.
and I agree. It's that thing. How many times you gonna touch a hot stove? If you
Right.
touch it more than once, then you need some counseling.
Right.
Some counseling for that kid.
Yeah.
So there it is. But yeah, I was in the comments, man, when you talking about is it a good idea for Trump and his crew?
Hold up, hang on before you say that. I saw in the comments, M. Muhammad or somebody says kids need tuned up from time to time. I don't think that word is. I'm in the back room tuning up my kid. That sounds like what the cops used to do to black folks. I don't like the tune. That might be a little bit of harsh language. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
No, I was in the comments, man. It's got some J6 vibes to it.
What do you mean?
I mean, what I'm saying is, I've said in the past, why not have a rally January 5th? Why not have it January 7th? You did it on that day to have an impact.
Right.
So these guys are going into a hostile territory that, for all intents and purposes, everybody kind of runs.
Oh, so you're saying Trump going to Springfield, Ohio has January 6th vibes to it?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I mean, what's the point? It's hot right now. It's a hot button issue. You got the officials there saying, "Hey, you're just gonna fan these flames." So what are you going there to do?
That's a good point.
Stop the steal. What will stop the steal? You could quabble and split hairs on, oh, well, he meant this and he meant that. My bottom line, kind of like you said about the bar and the guy that drinks, is why the hell even have it on January 6th?
Yeah.
You had it that day to have an effect. Now,
Wow.
whatever happened, yeah, you may not, quote unquote, foresee that, but you had to think it was a possibility.
Wow. So if he ends up going to, because if he goes to Springfield, Ohio, and starts holding a rally, literally quoting off a laundry list of how many things wrong the Haitian immigrants are doing to that town, whether it's their resources, whether it's having accidents, whether it's eating their pets. If the citizens of that town is attending that rally, I can see leaving that very angry. Because he's pointing out all the things that these people are doing wrong in your town and how you're suffering for it. I could certainly see a very angry crowd leaving his rally.
And if history predicts the future, he's not going there to try to heal any wounds.
Oh, no.
He's going there to put salt on them. He's definitely going there to put salt on them. So, there's no win-win for this other than he's going to, quote-unquote, incite some kind of situation.
Well, there's a win, and that win would include running the Haitians out of town. Running them all out of town would be the win.
Okay, so are people wrong about who they perceive him to be? You get all these Trump interpreters and these Trump explainers to say, no, that's not what he meant. Me being an African-American man, what the fuck is a black job? Every job I've had, it ain't just been people that look like me there. I guess when I was at Burger King at 15, because I was on the fries, that was my black job. And the guys making the burger and at the register, I guess, who jobs were those?
Well, he's also talked about Hispanic jobs. Now, he's never said white jobs, but my guess is, and maybe I'm wrong, but the way I take it is that he believes that the lower menial jobs are mainly being maintained by black and Hispanic people. And to some degree, that is true. But obviously, black people can have professional jobs as well. But I don't think he sees white people as doing those jobs, which is why he says black and Hispanic jobs, and he doesn't say white jobs. So I believe he sees black workers as filling all those low level positions.
Well, thank you for speaking, thinking so highly of me. I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could never be president. Like, you know what I mean? You cancel that because.
Yeah, that's not a black job, unfortunately. I mean, I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you filling out the application, and you apparently are over 35 and you're born in America. But president, it's not a black job. Furback. Appreciate you filling out the paperwork.
Yeah, here's a broom. You can go help the guys in the kitchen. You know what I mean? What the fuck, bro? I mean, what the fuck are we doing here, man? You know what I mean? You had a guy on here earlier. And one thing before I forget, I've been hearing about a lot of people down there in Springfield. I know you got your computer in front of you. The most group that I haven't heard anything from, and I might be missing, is PETA. If all this shit is going on, where the fuck is PETA at? They throwing paint on people at the Grammys and shit for leather, wearing leather and fucking fur.
Yeah.
Proud Boys there, Trump going there, PETA just quiet. I tend to think it's bullshit.
Yeah, the evidence don't match up to the responses. Like I've said many times, the professional entities in the town, from the mayor to the police to the governor to the kennel, you're talking about animal welfare, animal patrol, none of them are saying this stuff is happening. It's a few citizens they found that probably have a gripe with the Haitian immigrants to begin with, but any other professionals in town, they're not saying no comment. They're actually coming out and saying this is not true. And I don't think you would get them all to lie in sync. I mean, and as I stated before on the program, the town is a Republican city and a Republican state, so it's not a bunch of liberals doing this. The governor of Springfield is conservative, and the mayor of Springfield is conservative, and so is the governor of the state. So they're all saying it's not happening.
And it's wild because he's going down there to fuck up the black jobs. I mean, the Haitians are doing the black jobs for the conservative town. Sir, let them have their black jobs in peace. I mean, I don't understand what's the problem, man. If a little cat gets missing every now and then, I'm in the fucking city. You're from the city. There's stray dogs and cats that go missing every fucking day. I don't know where they go.
Well, he said, but he didn't say. But the thing about it is, he stated at the presidential debate, he stated that people's pets. So those ain't strays. He is saying people's pets are being eaten.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
I know where my pet is at all times, but that's just terrible.
It's going. They're going to have to tell it before. I got to move it on, but before I do, remember the old? I don't know if you're old enough, but back in the 1980s, they had that commercial after the Atlanta child murders. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your pet is? They may have to. Yeah, they may have to start having that commercial with Springfield. I gotta go.
They're gonna start waving people tummies for the chips.
Oh my God.
Peace out.
Oh Lord, gotta go. All right, man. Furback, crazy than a motherfucker. All right, Ed G. You know what that means. Construction is Mexican jobs. A 5'5" Mexican, for the most part, will work at anyone. Will outwork. Okay, you said that. Okay, you did say it right. So you said you know what that means. Construction is Mexican jobs. Jesus. Hey, this is coming from a viewer. This is not coming from me. Ed G says, you know what that means. Construction is Mexican jobs. Mexicans, for the most part, will outwork anyone else. Your teachers, for the most part, are white jobs. Ed, Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to go with that. So you say construction jobs are white, or construction jobs are Mexican jobs because they're known to outwork people. But teachers, for the most part, are white jobs. That's not. I mean, I know a lot of black teachers. Now, I will say back in the 70s and 80s, there may have been more validity to that. There were more white. Nowadays, if you're in the hood, your teachers are probably black. Teaching's not a white job anymore. It was back in the day, but we know discrimination and a lot of things were at play to prevent those jobs from being done by anybody else. I mean, you knew the principal of your school was going to be a white dude. A white woman couldn't get the job. I mean, back in the day and age of discrimination, they did have white jobs and black jobs and all of that. But nowadays, I don't think that has the same relevance. You literally, I mean, I hate to, quote the cliche, but you literally can be anything you want to be nowadays. The black job thing is from a different era. It's kind of from a different era. Kind of reminds me of, I think everybody's seen the movie Back to the Future, where Michael J. Fox went back to the future and he's in the restaurant and the black guy is sweeping up the store and the guy says, I'm going to be mayor someday. And the guy behind the register who's a white guy, like, a colored mayor, ha ha ha, that'll be well, that was back then. But nowadays, he can be mayor. It's actually possible. It's actually possible. So I think the black jobs comment, it's outdated. If I could give a term to it, it's outdated. It sounds like his mind is in a different era with that, because there is no job that you got black generals. I mean, hell, he's friends with Tim Scott. He's friends with Ben Carlson. What is it? I mean, that's why the black community is overwhelmingly saying, what is a black job? I mean, Mike Tyson and Don King and people used to hang around Oprah Winfrey. These people who Trump used to hang around. Those ain't, I mean, I think he's not the first guy. He's not the first old man that's in a different era. People tell me all the time that, I'm 50 years old. I'm talking about kids should get their ass whooped. I'm living in a different era, so he's in a different era with that. Black jobs is not relevant to 2024. Will G, all I'm saying is if MAGA doesn't like black people from another country working and achieving in their space, they should just say that. Wow. He's saying all he is saying is that if MAGA does not like black people from other countries working and achieving in their space, they should just say that. It's not going to be said. I get your point. Being honest, I mean, throughout history, let's get away from 2024, because everybody say racism ended a long time ago. Let's go back to the time when racism, where we all agree racism existed before Martin Luther King. Even back then, you'd have a hard time finding politicians who came out and stated, I don't like black people. The problem with defining racism is most of the time the person that has hate in their heart don't want to admit it. They usually lie and say it's for another reason. So it's real. That's why anybody who was accused of being a racist generally has plausible deniability to certain audiences, because they don't ever come out and say it. Very few people come out. I mean, even the Klan says, we don't hate blacks. We're just for the promotion of the white race. Even they deny it. So it's very difficult to say somebody is a racist, because you got to judge it on what they're doing. They're not going to confess to it. Segregation was separate but equal. We're not treating them any worse than anybody else. Separate but equal. When interracial marriage was outlawed, we're not treating, hey, look, I just think you should be with your kind, I should be with my kind. So you can come up with an excuse for all of those laws. And they did. So it's going to be difficult, even in 2024, to say if somebody's racist or not, because they're going to deny it. Like I said, very few people are going to come out and say, hi, my name is Tim and I'm a racist. They're not going to tell you that. Or, hi, my name is Tim and I hate white people. They're just not going to say that. Looking in the comments, there is no kind, we are all human. I like that. I wish everybody felt the same way. It was separate, but definitely not equal. Yeah, that's what the Supreme Court finally ruled. Well, we're attempting to make it in, but people like you just keep perpetrating the problem. You're attempting to make it in, says Joseph Amiot. What am I doing to perpetrate the problem? Let me know in the comments. You guys know I don't block, ban, or censor. You can be critical of the host. It's how free speech works. What do I say? We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. By the way, tap the screen. 130, maybe. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Takesha Bowie. Always good to get another female. Good evening, Takesha.
Hey, handsome, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm hearing that if Trump is elected, women are not going to lose any rights. What say you?
Who said that?
Most Trump supporters.
Oh, that's who said it, the Trump
Yeah,
supporters.
they're saying that it's fear. Well, let me clear it up. They're saying this. They're saying
When they lose their rights, they'll change their mind.
well, they're saying it's liberal fear mongering. Trump is not trying to. He
Do you
gave the
think
power
the
back to the
Supreme Court?
states.
Do you think? Do you think the Supreme Court is just gonna stop at one thing after they've already gotten rid of Roe versus Wade? Let's be honest.
Well, what do you insinuate? What else do you think they're going to go? What else you think they're going to? What's going to be?
Baby, they probably gonna set no more women voters. Y'all go in that kitchen and fry that chicken and don't get on nobody's job. You just go in there, shut up, and listen to what the white men of America got to say.
Wow, that almost sounds like a verse from Lil Wayne. Baby, just make me.
Didn't he say he wanted to go back 300 years?
Huh? Yeah, he did say that.
Oh, okay.
He did say that.
Listen, Tim. This is what I want to say. You know, Trump said that he was going to Springfield. And when he said he was going in what now?
Wait, say that again. He's going to Springfield. Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about going too.
Wait a minute. Trump said he's going in 2 weeks, right?
I didn't get the exact date.
He said, I'm going to Springfield in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Infrastructure was in 2 weeks. It never came.
Oh.
Insurance was in 2 weeks. It never came. Trump ain't going to Springfield. If he had left that 2 weeks off, I might have believed him. But when he added that 2 weeks in, I said, he ain't going nowhere, baby.
So
he ain't going.
Well, now the mayor and the governor of that state is saying they don't want him to come anyway. They think he might be upsetting folks.
He's not going in. They ain't got to worry about that. He ain't going.
What about?
Anytime he put 2 weeks at the end of something, it ain't going to happen.
Damn. What about Vivek Ramaswamy?
He probably, Mr. Smile Bright 2024. He might take his big whisker forehead over there and try to show out with that receding hairline. What he need to do is try to find him. What he need to do is try to just cut that foolishness out. Go sit down. You lost. You no longer can't. Baby, go sit down.
Did you call him Mr. Smile Bright?
2024. When he smiled on that debate stage, I counted every teeth he had in his mouth. That's just how big that man was smiling. Tim, he was smiling like the Lord had said, come on in.
Yeah, you got me wondering what Vivek. My God, I'm looking at a photo. It kind of reminds me of what is the guy from Hawaii? 24 karat, Bruno Mars. He almost looks like Bruno Mars.
He was smiling harder than a man fresh out the pen, getting on a bus to go home with a group full of women. The man was smiling too big. But let me say this though. Check this out, Tim.
Okay.
First of all, Trump said that the audience went wild when at the debate. He said the audience went wild when they asked him that question about abortion. What audience was there, Tim?
They went wow when the audience.
Did you watch this thing? Was it last night?
No, I didn't watch it. No, I didn't watch it.
He was on a comedy show.
Oh, he was on Greg Gutfeld. I started to watch it. Yeah, he was on Greg Gutfeld, Fox News.
And he was complaining. He said that they were fact checking him and not coming. He said then when the question about abortion came up, the audience went wild.
There was no audience.
Exactly. And y'all want to talk about Biden? Come on, Tim. See, now it's showing up that you old and you forgetful because now Biden is no longer on the scene.
Yeah.
So everything they talked about Biden, guess what? It's showing up with the Trumpster.
Wow. He does have some gas, and I will agree with you that MAGA doesn't hold him to the same account because when he said he was going to deport Haitian migrants to Venezuela, MAGA didn't comment on that at all. And now you're right. You're pointing out that he said that there was he's indicating that there was an audience during the debate.
Go back and watch it. He said the audience went wild. And I'm like, what no audience?
Yeah, he's having a few gas. He is having a few gas.
Yeah, that's all y'all gonna call it. But y'all want to say Joe Biden was full of dementia and Alzheimer's. Y'all play too much on this side, I tell you. Because I done already put you on this side, Tim. I ain't gonna say you're a liberal no more, Tim.
I lost my liberalism. I've lost my liberalism.
Put your red shirt on, Tim.
Huh?
Put your red shirt on, Tim.
Oh my God. Well, what if I want to keep America great?
Tim, America's never been great. Go on, put your hat on, baby.
Oh my
With
God.
the Made in China tag. by the person that want everything in America, but ain't brought none of his stuff. You ain't making no ties in America. You ain't putting your hats in America. Everything you got said China, but you this great man that's gonna make sure everything America.
But what about folks who might say, well, at least I could fill my tank up for a reasonable price under Trump, and I can't under Biden and Kamala?
Tim, inflation is at 2.5%. The economy is doing wonderful. And the reason you know the economy is doing wonderful, because the feds have dropped the interest rate.
Yeah, but
they had that argument no more.
But Takesha, many are going to suggest that they only doing this shit because it's about to be an election and they try to make the Democrats win.
Yesterday. Them folks ain't finna put their name and get out there and mess up the economy just because it's an election year. They doing it because they know that their inflation gonna hold at 2.5%. It just so happened that's when it failed. God dog. They got a reason and an excuse for everything, but why they vote for a felon and have felons and can't even vote? Tell us that.
Well, the felonies are apparently a witch hunt. The man.
Listen, it don't matter if it's a witch hunt. It don't matter if it's for a political purpose. The fact is, he did what they say he did. I don't care if they got him before he got in the office. He did it. It don't matter.
Oh, yeah. He got the fake hat on. That was funny.
Look at the team.
That was really funny. I'm assuming even my YouTube viewers saw that because they put a hat and a mustache on for fake. But now Angie in the comments says he's just in regards. I want to ask you about this because this is the black jobs thing. Angie says he's just pointing out that majority of minorities make up the lower level paying jobs. It's statistically true. Is it going over your head or are you just being dishonest? Now, when Trump talked about black jobs, he's saying that, look, if you really look at it statistically proven or statistically speaking, most of those jobs are being taken by people of color. How do you respond to that?
Let me say this, Tina, because I've seen hillbillies do jobs black people do. I've seen white men do jobs black people do. I've seen black people, CEOs of companies. I've seen black people work on construction sites. I've seen black people own their own business. There is no such thing as a job that is required to have a certain race to do. Trump was being racist. He was looking at us as being low on the totem pole. That's why he gave Ben Carson, the top neurosurgeon, a job over HUD, which is low income housing, to let him know that even in this administration, you still at the bottom.
Damn. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, think of it like that. That's exactly what he did. Why was Ben Carson not the Attorney General? Was he not qualified, Team?
You know, now you raise a good point because I've said this before. If we're going to say Dr. Fauci didn't know what the hell he was talking about, why didn't he put him in that position, or as you talking about the Surgeon General or somebody like that? That's a good point.
The way he felt like he needed to be, and that was over low income housing, so he'll still be with his folks, the black folks. So please, baby, stop it. I've been picked Donald Trump's keyhole.
I should be donating to you, God. All right, I gotta move it on. You depressed the hell out of me with that, but I can't.
You know, you gotta look at it for what it is. Till they keep talking about this man ain't racist, but they're not paying attention to the racist undertone. And let me say this before I go, Tim. Racist people can hide their racism when they're around people they're racist against. And I'm going to give you this example and I'm going to go. I was in Piggly Wiggly one day, and this happened a couple of years ago. And I was standing in line. There was a long line. And me and this white guy were talking. He had a 1-year-old in the little buggy, and he had like a 5-year-old standing next to him. And me and him just laughing and talking. I'm talking about we having a good conversation. And guess what that 5-year-old said?
What?
Dad, I thought you didn't like black people.
Oh my God. Wow.
You would have never known it the way that man was standing up there laughing and talking to me. So just because you see a white person talking to a black person or saying something good about a black person, that does not mean they're not racist.
Well, I got a lot of white people that watch me from both sides of the aisle. All of my folks watch. Ain't nobody racist here at all.
They don't like you, Tim. They just like that you give them a platform, but they don't like you.
You are being mean today.
That's why you be insulted so much, Tim. They don't like you. They just like that you gave them a platform. Take that with a grain of salt.
All right, Takesha, that's a lot of salt. That's a lot of salt.
Well, take it and eat it. Have a great one, sir.
I don't know if I can. Thank you for coming on, Takesha. Keisha always speaks her mind. Always welcome on the program. Now I will say this though, because she said they don't like me, and I probably get more sell out Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus. It's usually people that look like me that's saying that stuff. I probably get more insults. I even said this because some of you folks know, you've probably seen me in other lives. I go in a lot of other people's folks and and comment and debate and whatever. Generally, if I'm around, I get the most insults, the worst insults from usually black MAGA. But obviously, people calling Uncle Ruckus and Uncle Tom, those are black liberals. But black MAGA, if I go to now I can go to white MAGA all day and it's peachy, it's fun, black. Oh my God! If I go around African Americans that support Trump, it's bad. It's bad. I don't know why. All right, look at it in the comments. You let them play in your face, says KT. What does that mean? Let them play in your face. Lumberjack. Yeah, Lumberjack. I don't been on Lumberjack's live a bunch of times. He don't call me everything from a bald-headed bitch on down. It's bad. It's real bad. By the way, I don't mind. I got thick skin. I mean, I'm a glutton for punishment. I believe in free speech. We're talking politics. People get passionate. That's what happens. I mean, it is what it is. That's why you don't see me limiting speech because somebody says something I don't like. Yep, it gets old, doesn't it? The worst insults from my fellow black people for not being a Democrat. Yeah, I'm sure if you are a African American that supports Trump, you get a lot of insults from black folks that are leaning left. Yeah, it's real bad. They're gonna call you. Like I said, just because I got the hat in the background, I get hammered with it. So yeah, it does happen. But at the same time, I often bring up anytime somebody mentions that Trump or Trump supporters are getting hammered. It's not like Trump supporters are just walking around with halos on their head and everybody's bashing them. I mean, make no mistake about it. Trump and his supporters throw around a hell of a lot of insults too. So it could be a case of live by the sword, die by the sword. Like I said, it's not like Trump supporters don't insult folks as well. So, everybody's in the mud together. Look at it that way. Black MAGA equals the worst kind. Black MAGA hates themselves. I don't know about that. Tim doesn't play on other people's personal experiences. I try not to alter ego. Appreciate that. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 127,000. There was some lazy thumbs in the beginning, but I do appreciate that. It is, as always, a free speech program. You see me with Vivek on the monitor behind me, as she called him Mr. Smile Bright. Yeah, that's a pretty good smile. He's a decent looking lad there. He's a decent looking lad. That could have been your president of the United States. By the way, a lot of MAGA, a lot of Trump supporters were favoring him. Well, not MAGA. A lot of Republicans that wanted Trump's policies without Trump's drama, so to speak. People were after Trump. Trump is saying you could get probably 90 to 95% of what Trump was offering for the direction of America out of this guy without all the court cases and the witch hunts, as people call it, all of that. You'd got it out of this guy. So anyway, they decided to go with Trump. Will G, thank you. Alter Ego, yeah! Alter Ego with the hat and mustache on. Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you. Will G says the only thing that is being blown up racially is the racist trope that black people eat people and unclean animals. Notice you never hear that about Europeans. Yeah, I have never heard anybody say a European is eating animals or people. Are they suggesting that black people are cannibals too? Damn. Really? Wow. Vivek was live on TikTok. I would love to. I was fortunate enough to be able to interview Michael Cohen. I wish I could have got a chance to talk to Vivek. I know there was a bunch of viewers in there. JC says the best or the worst Uncle Tom saying I ever heard was people of color, pet of Caucasian. What are you saying? They're saying that people of color are pets of the Caucasian race. I don't quite get that one, JC. That sounds bad though. Cannibalism, fancy prancy. That's in America. Now there are places out there that cannibalism is real, but I think it's in very, remote corners of the planet, even among black people or islanders, it's still fairly rare. Yeah, people of color are not eating other human beings very much around the planet. That's now I see Fancy President. You saying no in Haiti. I don't think there's a large incidence of Haitians eating other people. Why go to this? Where? What the hell? They're not eating people in Haiti like that. Remember when IKEA had horse meat in the meatballs? Okay, it's time to end this shit. It is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I appreciate you folks tuning in. We are here Monday through Friday. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, you are in the right place. We do not eat people. We respect cats and dogs. We do not see them as a delicacy or a meal. We are here Monday through Friday. Follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube, if you will. I will see you guys tomorrow. God damn. I gotta go.